Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll podcast brought to you by the Adventure Archive. My name is Ryan.
I'm Hunter.
And today we are going over the very, very highly anticipated CY BORG, the nano-infested doomsday RPG about cybernetic misfits and punks raging against a relentless corporate hell. I cannot tell you how fucking excited I am for this one.
I am stoked. We've been waiting for CY BORG for forever, man. I am so ready.
So this is going to be super fun to go over this PDF, but man, I can't wait for those physical books.
I can't either.
I wish we could show. I wish we had it in our hands now to show you people. And obviously when we get it, we're going to show it off again. But I am rocking at least my Mork Borg shirt. Hey, thank you for the follow, Hoodie. So for those that don't know, if you know what CY BORG is, you know what Mork Borg is, but you know that Mork Borg or CY BORG is a Mork Borg hack brought to you by Johan Nohr and Christian, I'm probably going to say this wrong again, Christian Sahlen, both members of Stockholm Cartel, and Christian has put out like a shitload of stuff for Stockholm to all of the pamphlet modules on there for the OSR, the Hollow Tower, just a ton of really, really great stuff. I have them somewhere. I was going to pull them out, the Tower Hollow. I was going to pull them out, and then if I could show you the number of piles of books I have that I don't have anywhere to do but pile them. Let's just say pile, big pile, another pile over there, pile over there. I have to find them. I don't have them. They're great though.
So are you saying you have a lot of like tabletop gaming paraphernalia?
I do, and I try to have everything that Stockholm Cartel has put out because they're fucking awesome. Between Mork Borg, CY BORG, Death in Space, all the pamphlet modules I just said. Into the Jungle from Christian Plogvers, who was on Death in Space.
Gotcha.
I do have Through the Gate from Carna Blouse. So yeah, everything that I can get from Stockholm Cartel, I have. Big fans. They're killing the TTRPG community over the past couple of years, and hopefully they just keep doing it because they're just fucking awesome and they're like some of the coolest, chillest fucking people ever. So
absolutely,
yeah. So before we jump into CY BORG, we don't have a ton of stuff to talk about on Kickstart the Podcast this week. I don't know if there's any
back Soul Burner. So
yeah,
there we go.
Big fans of Adam Vass here, World Champ Games. What he said, back Soul Burner. Go do it now. There is, I think, less than a week left on it. 5 days. Go fucking back it. And there's nothing else that's super. We still got weeks on like the one other thing I've backed that we haven't gone over yet. So we're gonna hop into some physical rewards that I did get, and then we're gonna jump right into CY BORG. So, couple of things. I did make a post about this already, but I want to talk about it real quick. It is Nativity in Black.
Super stoked on that. Here, I'll pull mine out too.
Astro Lich, aka Josh Dunham. Super fucking cool little zine. It is a retelling of the Nativity story, which I guess it is Easter. Happy fucking Bunny Day to everybody.
Oh yeah, it's Easter today. Yeah, so Nativity in Black.
Yeah, it's a retelling of the story of Jesus.
The birth of Jesus.
Obviously, kind of fucked up because it's from the creator, compatible with Mork Borg. If you know Mork Borg, you know Astro Lich. Amazing fucking content, always, all the time.
It's really, it's very good.
And this isn't really like an adventure necessarily per se. It's a literal retelling of the story, like very like biblically. And in the sixth misery, messengers of Necrobel were sent to the city of Griff, etc., etc. And then all of the characters in the story have stat blocks.
Yeah, all the characters in the story are statted. So I was like, okay, cool.
Including Tyrant of the Highest, which is because in this story, obviously, you give birth to what amounts to the Antichrist.
Obviously.
Of course.
In Mork Borg, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to turn that into a Christmas adventure, and we'll run that at the end of the year. And it came with 3 icons, which if you got the Heretic Mork Borg Kickstarter, you know what the icons are. And it's these little tiny zines based on these characters, just badass icons. Tyrann of the Highest is one of the ones you get. You get the Leper Espoused, which is the Austerlitz Nativity in Black version of Mary, who is a leper in it, and it's badass.
The Virgin Mary.
Yeah. And you also get Julaften Karl, which brings a little Christmas spirit, I guess, to it. So yeah, super cool. Really excited for this. The zine looks great. Again, everything Austerlitz does looks fucking great. I did do a post on this on Instagram if you want to look in some more pictures and stuff like that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. It was really cool. Super worth it. Definitely going to back more of their stuff in the future.
I do like that it's just like you're reading it and you're just reading the dark nativity story. You know?
Yeah, which is badass. It's definitely a nice, it's not just like a Mork Borg dungeon or anything like that. It's just, yeah, it's something different, which is really, really cool. The next thing I'm going to talk about is called Yigdera. Probably saying that wrong. It is a Mork Borg hack, a whimsical trash verse RPG built on the bones of Mork Borg. I have not got a chance to really dig into this yet, but the zine looks fantastic. Like I said, it is a Mork Borg hack, and it is a setting, like it just said, a trash verse setting.
A trash verse.
Yeah. Basically, people live in garbage. So,
just like
America.
real life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun and in sync. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks really great. I'm excited for it. When I backed it, I was very excited for it. It was not expensive at all. It was like $15 to get the physical version of it. Again, I'm going to dig in this a little bit deeper, and I'll probably do a post on it as well. But like I said, the zine looks really cool. It's really consistent. The art throughout is cool. I like that it's a hack of Mork Borg that's got its own style, as opposed to just compatible with Mork Borg, variant of the Mork Borg style.
Yeah.
So really cool, really well done. Gives a little hint of Mork Borg in there as well. Yeah. And the cover art's fantastic. So really excited for this. Like I said, I need to get some time to dig into this a little bit more. This is from Caleb Engelke. I thought I was good at pronouncing names until I actually heard myself saying them. So I always apologize in advance. But it's really cool. Check this out. Yeah. And then the last one, highly anticipated, Knock number 3, baby.
It looks great.
It looks great, and they always have a really cool dust jacket on it, as this one does, and the dust jacket always has more stuff in it. My only beef with it was the envelope it came in wasn't super padded, and it definitely got beat the fuck up on the corner. Really kind of
God, I fucking hate that, dude. That's happened to me a couple times recently.
Pain in the ass. But it's amazing. It's from the Merry Mushman. It is the third of 3. If you don't have the other ones above on this shelf where you guys can't see, I have number 1 and number 2, and they're amazing. Just compilation, huge compilation of just awesome OSR content and adventure seeds and just really cool badass stuff. This cover is absolutely stunning. And I'm very, very excited to dig into this. I've started reading it. I've not got a chance to finish it, but just like all the rest of them, it is gorgeous and stunning. And I love that they always do. So this is the actual cover of the book, without the dust jacket.
It looks so good.
It's got all the stuff on the side. It's got all the stuff in the back. But I love that on all of them, you get the cover quasi-virgin. You know what I mean? There's obviously some stuff on the side so you can see it on the shelf, but being able to have the dust jacket with no writing on the front is super, super cool. So I love that they do that. I love
really stripped down covers like that where it says nothing on there, and I really do like that.
Yeah. And then obviously inside the cover, not wasting any space, more content. So very excited again to dig deeper and deeper into Knock number 3. The first 2 were amazing, and I expect this one to continue to be amazing as well. And that, my friends, is all of the physical rewards we're going to talk about today. And again, not a whole lot going on Kickstarter right now that I'm aware of, and I think we're both trying to save a little bit of moolah.
I think that's also happening, is we're both really not. We went real hard on Kickstarter.
Zemo. Oh my god.
And Zemo kind of fucked me up too, but
still catching up. Worth it. Still catching up. But yeah, not that we have to back every project we promote, but we usually do.
We did.
but we do.
Not that we have to do it or anything, but we do it. Yeah.
No, but we do. So if you have a project, crowdfunding on any of the crowdfunding sites, because I know we call it Kickstart the Podcast, but we do talk about itch funding. Yeah, we talk about itch funding. We talk about GameFound. We talk about a lot of stuff. So that's about it. Last thing I have to say is go back Soulburner.
Yeah, go back Soulburner. If you have a back Soulburner and you listen to this show, you're a fucking weirdo. This is an at best fucking stand show, you know?
Absolutely. Again, right there. So for those in podcast land, I'm pointing to my iWizard Necronautilus box behind me from the unboxing. So that's it. 8:34 with some tech issues and everything. I'm really happy with issues
today, man. I'm having a hard one.
We didn't.
I'm actually funny enough. I'm still working on getting it working right now, and I can't. So, you know,
we will get there.
Good times, baby.
Maybe throughout the week before next week we can get it working, and we'll see where we're at. So, that's it. Let's get crack-lacking.
All right, that's the end of the show. See you guys later.
Bye. Are you ready to hit Cyborg though? Not even fucking around with it,
dude. Okay. I can't.
Ready or not, motherfucker? Nope. Nope. That's the right window. We're in the right window now. This is Cyborg. I can't even begin.
Cyborg, baby.
To describe how excited I am for this project. So Mork Borg was my game of last year, my favorite game. It's going to be one of my favorite games ever. It's just so well done. Johan Nohr, friend of the show, Johan Nohr, who came on and was just such a awesome fucking guy.
He was very
so
cool.
Excited for anything that he does, anything that he's attached to. And CyBorg is a Mork Borg hack. Set in a neon-infused like future where corporate warfare and you know what it reminds me of more than anything. If I had to pick one thing, would be like a dark version of like Johnny Mnemonic.
I still haven't seen Johnny Mnemonic.
You haven't seen Johnny fucking Mnemonic?
No, we had this discussion too. I think recently.
God, dude. Yeah, Johnny Mnemonic is really fucking good, and like there's like it's been a while since I've seen it too, but there's like your runners. So like they actually put like data in your head and then you just have to get somewhere and they'll take the data out of your head and pay you or whatever.
Oh, but there's also like Keanu Reeves flick.
It's Keanu fucking Reeves. Yeah.
Oh, and Ice-T's in it, bro. You got me.
There's like data pollution and stuff because there's just so much going on. It's really fucking good, but it's like a dark cyberpunk future. I mean, cyberpunk is always supposed to be like dark a little bit, but I mean, obviously this one takes it a little bit far. There's some occult aspects into it too. Cyborg does a little bit. If you don't know anything about Mork Borg,
Stockholm Cartel, right? Yeah, they took it a little dark.
Yeah, a little bit. So again, so this is Christian Sahlen. I'm probably saying it wrong, and Johan Nohr, Stockholm Cartel. I believe this one is also put out under the Free League Workshop, which is like a sub studio of Free League, which, as far as I'm aware, is basically they get to do whatever the fuck they want, and then Free League is just like, we'll distribute it because it's amazing. It could be completely wrong, but that's what it is, and we're gonna get going. So obviously, right inside, which will be the in papers, we're heading right into some roll tables, just like Mork Borg. We got some cool roll tables.
Tradition, you know.
You got to. So we got D66 names, which is not D66. It's you roll a 6 and then you roll another 6 and you take tables 1 through 6, and then within that table you roll a 6. Same thing with D66 pocket lint.
I'm gonna roll on the pocket lint one.
Do it. I need it. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, for this one especially, we just need to have a freaking die table up and ready to go.
For pocket land, I got nothing.
You got nothing? What'd you roll? 11 to 16?
14.
Oh, I got a 23. I got a VIP card to an exclusive porch club, baby.
Hell yeah.
And then that is it for the first one. And then, weather. There's a weather table, a 1d12 weather table, which is really, really cool. I love when they add little stuff like that in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget weather in their story, and every adventure basically takes place at like 2 p.m. on a gorgeous sunny day. And then D10 infested items. Why don't you, these are deep. So why don't you roll for one? We'll talk about that and then move on, because this book is super dense. So
yeah, we're not going to touch on every single instance in this book.
No.
We are going to skim and go over a single book.
Yeah.
I rolled a fucking 1.
Nice.
The bloody cred chip sinks into your hand. Your fingers stretch and grow tendon-like tentacles that wrap around your throat. You are choked for D4 damage per round until you were someone helping out pass a DR14 strength test. You can now manifest these tentacles at will. What the fuck? What the fuck?
So good. So good. I love, again, there's a really occult aspect to the cyberpunk that's so good.
Yes.
And I also like that a lot of the fucked up stuff that fucks you up helps you too. Yeah. It's almost like a little rite of passage every time you get something. But it's really, really cool. I like that. And we'll go over more infested items and stuff later.
Like, cause that could kill you. Like, you could just die, like at the start of the game. You know?
But if you don't. Also, real quick, how about that fucking cover art, dude?
I mean, all the art, but yes, the cover art is ridiculous.
It's insane. I mean, and again, for those who can't see it, it's neon infused, it's pinks, it's yellows, it's very CMYK. The blue's a little darker than a cyan, but it's that same kind of like just color scheme. And it's this badass looking tech guy with a gun and a massive sword. It's just, it's so good.
I can't wait till we get to the map. The map is my favorite part. I don't know why. It just is.
Yeah, we'll get there. Another great piece of art here, where there's just, I don't know, some type of like demon guy holding a gun. Really, really cool. We get to the credits page. Cyborg, writing and game design by Christian Sahlen, graphic design, art, and editing by Johan Nohr, with additional editing by Brian Yaksha, and additional editing by Walton Wood. Anyone that knows Mork Borg stuff knows Walton Wood. Brian Yaksha is also a great person to follow on Twitter. Go check them out. They are wonderful. Sensitivity consulting. I'd be very curious to know. No, I mean, they do great stuff in this. I think the sensitivity stuff isn't necessarily for like the gore as much as it for other things.
No, and there's like, and I can totally see that, because there's a lot of dark stuff in here, but there's a lot of stuff that's not maybe necessarily triggering. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Based on Mork Borg, Paley Nielsen, everything, first printing. So, the messed up world they left us. With another amazing, I'm going to say amazing art every fucking page.
Yeah, every piece of art in here is amazing.
Jam-packed. It's jam-packed. I feel like it's about the same level as Mork Borg as far as, I mean, it's obviously a bigger book. I think there's more art in it, and they use the art super well. Like this is an art punk book, like period, just like Mork Borg is.
Yeah.
But really cool piece of someone like bleeding, falling down from the sky, with a quasi silhouetted bridge. So if we're gonna read word for word stuff, this is the sections we're gonna do it in. This is early kind of setting stuff, and then when we hit the rest, we'll kind of peel back on that a little bit. But especially this page is great. It is the intro. It's the setting. It's the setting of the tone page. The world is ending again and again and again and again, constantly in flux, shifting, distorting, always reborn as something worse. Destruction by ecological catastrophes, the fallout of history's belligerents, by modern man-made miseries, or the blood spilled by the reckless machine of capitalist supremacy. Mankind's greatest ability truly is to destroy itself in creative ways. Designer demise.
It's like some slam poetry right there, man.
Oh, yeah. Designer demise, consumer customized death, endlessly on repeat. Poisonous space rocks, nuclear weapons, cyclical revolutions, warring nations, warring corporations, warring neighbors, pandemics, tsunamis, volcanoes. In between it all, direct person-machine interfaces, tactical neural implants, and bacteria from outer space hijacking intercellular nanorobotics. And the sky is full of ads. Everyone is interfaced, injected, infected, infested with something. Everyone wants something from everyone else. Everyone is a liar and a cheat. Everyone wants more creds. Welcome to the year 20X3. Welcome to the city of CY. Fuck, dude. Like, this fucking game.
Shit goes hard.
It goes
like,
so hard.
Yeah, you want a fucking dystopian cyberpunk? We got fucking everything. We got space shit. There's a cult shit. We have corporo shit. You know, like it's as dark as a setting could possibly be. Everyone's on drugs, or they're infected, or they're greedy, and you're like, okay, fuck, here we go.
Worshiping like alien nano robot cults and stuff. Like, fuck this game, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, it's funny.
And a lot of it, I learned to navigate Acrobat a little bit better. I actually don't think I have the spreads version up, so you'll get this line down the middle of some of the spreads when I bring it up. But starting with chapter 1, CY, we should have burned this city down. We should have burned this city centuries ago, is what it says on this really amazing kind of like top down, kind of top up, upside down, picture of this kind of cybernetic world.
I like all these like weird, like distorted, sometimes dreamy views of like this nondescript ultra city, because it is a nondescript ultra city.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to grab the spreads version so I can get rid of that, because a lot of this stuff is like, it's so readable that you can read it in spreads on the stream, and it's still, again, super readable. So I'm going to snag the spread version real quick. Bring that up, and here's spreads, download, and we will commence as soon as I hit that up.
We'll recommence,
We'll recommence. Here is spreads, baby.
Spread it, baby.
Yeah. So
there we go.
New capitalists rule from glass towers in Central. Immortal OG money aristocrats in gated mansions, in gated communities, and gated enclaves in the hills.
Immortal OG money aristocrats.
The anti-capitalist, like when we get to like rule number 00, just
Oh yeah.
This month's VIP. So let me get rid of that right there. This month's VIP celebs from their e-persons and clubs in the ports, gangs rotting in their turf in the slums bordering Go, neo-mediums from whatever accursed den their cult claimed as hollow ground, all of them are building their own kingdoms and armies. Another just amazing art spread here of just kind of like a Blade Runner feature where everything is just these ads blowing into your face. Like original Blade Runner, cool, but like Blade Runner 2049 actually, like, I don't think got as much love as it deserved.
Oh no, that movie's fucking fantastic. I did not know it was going to be so good.
And Anna de Armas, let me tell you what. But it again, there's so much cyberpunk out there, but this reminds me of Blade Runner 2049 mixed with Johnny Mnemonic, mixed with like Lovecraftian Cthulhu quasi, like, and then with a real heavy extra dose of fuck capitalism on the side, which is part of cyberpunk in general. Oh,
this
Akira.
Is the worst place you could ever be.
Yeah.
This is the worst future you could possibly have.
Yeah. But like, as I was reading, that's what I was thinking was Johnny Mnemonic, Blade Runner 2049, Akira, like,
Oh yeah, totally.
So getting to the map, I know you really like this. I'm going to go back to a single page spread.
Love this map. I want to get a print of just this massive and put it on my wall. Like, it's so fucking cool. It shows you all the zones. It's not just like Mork Borg's map, but like it's divided up into the zones. I just stylistically it looks really cool with this, like, it's water around it, I guess, but it looks like blood and oil, and it's fantastic.
It is. And one thing that I really, really love about it too is it's fucking huge. Like, realistically, it is bigger than the original Mork Borg map, which was not very defined. It was this very like broad. One thing I loved about Mork Borg is there was plenty of lore in it, but there's also plenty of open space.
Yeah.
This also has that, but this map is so much bigger. I would say it's at least it's hard to gauge it. Probably like 6+ times bigger than the Mork Borg map if you really laid that over this one.
Yeah, it feels much larger. And like you said, like there are more zones and it feels a little bit more like dialed in and specified, you know?
Yeah. But even with some of the zones are like you can use stuff there, but all of the, so for those in podcast land again, and we forget there's so many zones, but there's industrial zones, there's slums, there's hills. The big area in the middle, Go, is where the incident happened, which was some type of, was there a specific thing? It never talks about a specific story.
It says a couple of different things. It's just whatever the incident is, that's where it happened. Bombs falling, rocks falling from the sky, an outbreak of a plague. I believe it's like super duper general. But that's what that's where Go is, you know?
But there is some
poisonous. You don't want to go there.
It's kind of like Chernobyl on fucking steroids in Go. You don't fuck around. Chernobyl, it straight up says, like if you go here, you'll die.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's surrounded by a bunch of areas, some slums. The hills are obviously where the rich people go. And then there's an entire page here of the enemy being the corporations. Really, I love the logos that they use here. They use like all the standard like styles of logo, the font logo, the letters laid over itself, like the symbols.
Very corporate.
Very corporate. Even like the UCS logo, like the security logo. And then even one of them, I think it's the Heirs of Kurzogs, is a very kind of like occult symbol-y one in the bottom right here. Super cool. But again, I love that the enemy is the fucking man, you know, it's the corporate overlords that have fucked the entire city forever.
This is a game of punks. In this game, you are punks. You are outcast from society. Corporos are your fucking enemy, man.
Just like in real life, if people actually gave two shits. Yeah, but, you know, at least in America, no one does. They're happy to be fucking cattle. So, anyway, so, Central, you know what? I said CY. The city is called CY, right? CY? Because every time it actually lists the city name, it's just this, like just this mashup of glitchy symbols.
I wonder if the purpose of that is that you can just name the city whatever you want it to be.
Probably. Yeah. But at the beginning, this chapter is called CY, CY.
Yeah, it's called CY, and it has like the little thing next to it. But yeah, I mean, we can call it CY, but.
Yeah. The hills to the west are crowned in neon and hollow shimmering crystal overlooking Go and the wretched piss-poor city below. Once woodland and villas, Central rose prominent after the incident. Its humble grounds ravaged into an iron horizon of skyscrapers and arcologies, all under the calculating gaze of corporate offices. A coffin apartment costs more than you'd make in 10 lifetimes. It won't let you forget that. The Sec Corps are ever present, their jurisdictions finite and controlled by ironclad contracts under direct, violent competition. They're a coercing hand meant for outsiders and interlopers. The crimes here are white collar, financial, high yields, low convictions. The rich remain above the law. An altar to consumerism in the shape of a sprawling retail park called Undershan is perpetually under construction beneath Lake Gravel, separating the north and south of Central.
Beautiful.
And then, I'm not going to read all of this. It basically goes through each of the districts of the map. South Central is dominated by the Megacore Allianson Inc. and the mobster law firm Graf, Melberg, and Tosk. I love
the mobster law firm.
Yeah. I love how many nods there are to. I love how many nods there are to Mork Borg in here, though. So if you actually look at the map itself, there's an area called Galgbracken. Galgbracken, just like Galgenbeck in Mork Borg. Yeah. When you look at this, there's an area called it's called Graf, Melberg, and Tosk, and there's an area in Mork Borg called Graventosk. So I love all the little nods, and I'm sure there's a bunch that I'm even missing.
Oh, there's a ton to like two-headed AI with like with information. I'm just like, haha, I played that game too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it continues to go through the different areas, and again on this page here next to the side of page 10, another just fucking beautiful, massive piece of art of like a city view. With all of the ads up in the sky, these boats coming down this river. the people on the side, and just the rain perpetually falling. Because honestly, if I run this, it's just perpetually fucking rain. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's Blade Runner. That was one of my favorite things visually about Blade Runner. It's like, oh, it's always raining. Yeah. You know? But
it's like acid fucking rain that's just like pouring through these digitally displayed ads and shit. Like it's just A1 area talks about the ports. There's no escape from the city, even with the 3 ways out: air, sea, and space. The ports offer the illusion of escape from within a labyrinthine universe of steel, concrete, and abandoned warehouses. What else is there? Royal West shipping, pop-up hotels of idle coffins, and then it talks about Go, specifically giving a little bit more insight into the incident, kind of. This is where the rock fell, where the bombs dropped. A post-apocalyptic quagmire kept in quarantine by a massive wall monitored by auto turrets and armed drones. Entering the sector without proper protection is still a death sentence. Even the murderous nano freaks, pockets of nerve gas, or radioactive space dust don't kill you, then whatever the hell makes that noise at night will. Right?
It's such a good point. That noise. No description. It's so great because they're like, if you're playing with your group, like they're all gonna know what Go is, but they're not gonna know what Go is. Like they don't know why it's there. It's where the rock fell, where the bomb drops. Like no, it's where the thing happened. You know?
It's one of those things where, like, you can, with just a little bit of descriptions, people know exactly what you're talking about, but it'd be really hard to define it because it's slightly different for everybody, but everyone understands the vibe. And that's what this and Mork Borg does so well, is it gives you the vibe, and that's all you fucking need.
It absolutely does. A page into this, you're like, I totally understand exactly how this is supposed to be.
One hundo.
And then every piece of art past that just gives you more.
Feeds it, and the rules feed into it, and it's just so good. One of the doors on the Go Bulwark is said to lead to an underground kill club / music venue called My Wall. Secret societies like the Terpsichore Sisters are said to frequent it, using it as a forward base for their enclave deep beneath the old city. Just so fucking good. Like, so good. Big old 2-page spread here about the industries and the industrial areas with a lot of really cool industrial symbols and signs on the top. And it says size industrial zones are nightmarish sectors, gargantuan in scale, overflowing with poison and peril. The steel isle of Mosscroft reigns foulest of them all, a toxic hellscape rivaling Central in size, a barbed wire labyrinth of fume-spewing factories and overtaxed power plants, where the overworked and underpaid are herded like cattle to toll until they break. Industry must feed size, eternal consumption. I can imagine in a place where most of it is in the industrial areas, where most of it at this point is automated, and then the people that are actually forced to work there for probably pittance because that's all they can get, literally are just like digging through poison the entire time because they're incredibly expendable. And just how much of a hellish landscape that would be when most of it's not inhabited at all, so they can just say fuck it, pollute it as much as you want. Like it's
the air is thick with smog. It's like you can't see a foot in front of you.
Yeah, and you're just toiling, dying, for the corporate overlords that are giving you this hellscape,
Same,
it's ridiculous.
Homie,
Yeah. What always gets me about cyberpunk is how, like, it's just an exaggeration of the current state. Like, it's not fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not
it's just a little ahead.
Yeah. It's not some other place, some other realm, something someone made up. They just said, this is how fucked up things are. Let's slightly exaggerate it and go ahead a couple of years. And here we are,
Welcome to Neo America.
Right? America. So another amazing, so many spreads. And I mean, there's so much big art. And here's the thing is, the amount of time I think the art took on this, definitely it probably took more time than Mork Borg, in that there are a lot of 2-page spreads, but this is a bigger book, but there's so many big, incredibly detailed pieces of art. So detailed. Even this page, it's a picture of the slums. It's a high-rise building. In front of it, it's like graffitied to hell. There's a burning car and some person walking towards it with bags, like silhouetted by the flames. Like, it's such a great piece. And this is about the slums of the city. Everything near Go bears visible scars from the incident. Buildings and people alike, festering scabs, scorch marks, psychic shock, and some things more sinister, sentient. The slums are mangled by the weight of their wounds. Gangs fight the cults fight the militias. An uncontrollable spiral of violence, drugs, and destruction to determine who is in control of the detritus of CY. Like, just, it's so good. And we're only given like a line or two at the beginning of each description. There's so much more. The Virid Vipers are major players in the CY drug trade, and the heirs of Kurgaz wage a long and bloody gang war that makes a miserable life worse, especially in Big Moss. I mean, it's
so good. We're gonna just say this is so good. I'm just gonna say this is so good over and over again this whole show.
Yeah, so. we should have a so good counter is what it's gonna end up being. Do you want to start? Do you want to start with On Water and keep going?
Yeah, On Water. Beneath the spider's web of bridges connecting CY's many islands is the never-ending bustle of taxi boats, market barges, floating homes, and super tankers flying through flatbergs and filth foam waves. It's fucking like the background is this like is water that obviously has like plastic in it. It is polluted. So there is water in the city of CY. You know, it's just maybe covered in filth with fucking icebergs essentially made of just trash that are just filled with boats, and it's disgusting. CY's archipelagic outlet tangles ships in mercurial mazes of heavily patrolled aquaculture cages. Further east is a trackless expanse of lifeless, raging water on an undead sea of oil rig graveyards, glitching siren-like hollow beacons, and drifting plastic continents. That's fucking crazy. Drifting plastic continents.
It's crazy. Yeah,
it's also like Mork Borg. Like, there's a sea to the east that just goes on forever, and there's nothing in it. It's just dead.
So this basically says that like all of CY is like basically on water.
Yeah,
like it's just a series of basically like islands of trash. Yeah,
you can like see that's what the red is in between everything. It's like literally there's a spider like web network of bridges from each like little bit to the other.
Yep. There's so much water, like, and they basically said it was like archipelagic or whatever. It's an archipelago and a series of islands. Yeah. And the whole area of like Go, the ports, the barnyard fields, all of it here. And I love how in the map it's got this like flowiness to the red that gives it like a sense of water without being like without saying this is water. Again, fucking. It's also probably
water only by the lowest standard of water. Yeah,
like, it is. You will sink in it. It's not necessarily water. It's
as much trash as it is water. Our next page. Let's see. Yeah, our next. So this is the hills. This is your gated community, your rich people land, and I love it because there is a cutoff of the art. The art very quickly changes paces. We've had this art that's been kind of faded out, been kind of floaty, almost like dreamlike. And now you have this crisp color, these crisp lines, and you have this lady with this massive hat and forearms petting this like cat creature. And it just creates very clean imagery where it's like, oh yeah, now you're in the rich people zone, but there is still a Gatling gun above the gates. Like you're still inside.
And they're gorgeous gates too.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. And it's the first piece of art I think that just brought this style in, and I immediately was like, oh wow, like it really changes the tone. But this art definitely reinforces the tone of the hills. The hills, I like how it just says access denied. Locked safely behind gates upon gates, the hills and valleys away from the urban expanse of the ports and central crawl, with fortress-like villas and mansions swallowed by private parks and frivolous splendor. The higher you climb, the greater the luxury. The tighter the security. Officially, there's no crime in the hills, as any unfamiliar face is tracked and rendered in a panopticon of surveillance feeds and set corps are paid well for their desertion and their brutality when dealing with anyone, or discretion, with anyone without an invitation or home here. So this is your rich land. You know, you're not going here unless you were invited. And if you try to sneak on, you know what? You're probably not gonna make it.
Well, I also am 100% positive that this piece of art is a callback to this piece, Anthelia. The same white and yellow kind of vibe, the same like white body. Yeah. And then this is the piece. It's the white and yellow, super crisp. And she's like reaching out to pet the creature. And in the Mork Borg version, she's reaching out to rip the guy's head off.
Yeah.
But like even the again, the colors, the body, this is one hundo a callback to Anthelia. So yeah.
And like we obviously Ryan said this before, but we're hitting a few lines on this page, but on each page there are smaller sections that give you more lore or like context for that one area or what's going on there and what's related to it. But you should buy the book. You know?
Yeah. You can get the pre-order now. I'm like you can't you? Are you
I mean, if you weren't super cool like us and then got the limited edition and then you had Johan send you an advanced PDF so you could look through it so you could talk about it this week. Didn't happen. Okay, moving on.
No. The pre-orders are not open if you go through the page. So I don't know. And I don't know if you can late pledge. So if you missed it until it comes out, which I do not know when that will be. But they do. I don't know. Look it up on the page. But moving on.
Let's pretend this never happened. The in-betweens. I think I quoted this a while back, actually. So the in-betweens, this is the salary folk, the cubicle zombies, cogs in the machine. Our stored is crossed out. And it says live here in an endless row of bland tenement slabs, overcast by the oppressive vistas of faceless concrete brutalism, advertised to at every waking moment. There is a disease here, as irritable as a flickering light. Hyper-local gentrification with a flood will flood a sector with trend thralls and boutique entrepreneurs. So this is the people who have their 9 to 9 day job, Monday through Saturday. And they live like their little half-life while being constantly advertised to by the people who are making the real money. And once again, we have a little bit of an art shift where it's become like stark buildings, colorless, no personality.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Just the I'm not saying the working poor, just the drones.
The drones.
Like, yeah. You're not in the slums, which was all just like grungy fire art. You're not in the hills, which is like super crisp, beautiful art. This is just gray steel, like minimum to live a life where you can just be, I guess, not so unhappy that you do something about it, but definitely not fucking happy.
Yeah, again, you're just people who wake up and go to work and then come home, watch TV, and go to sleep. You know?
Yeah. The amount of just real life that this just keeps smacking in your face.
It's a little close to home.
It's just constant. And it's just like the fact that this is like kind of an exaggeration for a TTRPG, and it's barely an exaggeration, just crushes the soul. Like,
yeah. Cool. Fucking so good. Moving on to Beyond Psy. The Negacity devours all it sees. It fracks and churns the earth. It boils the oceans barren. It cages the natural world in its drug-fueled, over-bloated factory meat farms. Beyond the city limits are fields upon electrified fields for automated agriculture machines the size of cathedrals. With few forests remaining, what few forests remain are dominated by armies of buzzing, sawing, churning, clear-cutting drones that could not care less for what or who they cut down.
so good.
Wow, like that's I like the idea of like these farm machines that are like massive. They're cathedral size. They're large buildings. that just roll across these fucking like fields, these never-ending fields. And then we have this fucking fantastic piece of art as we move on to the net, which is fucking wild looking. You have someone with their, what's this device called again? It's
it's not like a tech deck because that's a skateboard. But it's something like that within the game. But basically it's just, it'll say it right here on the side. It's the retinal communication device.
There we go. Retinal communication device. Yeah. That fucking horrifying thing. Yeah. So the net with it. Ooh, I expand my window. I'm having so many technical difficulties today. I'm just having a weird day. With its roots in primitive games and military experimentation with cranial jacks, the net is a consensual semi-hallucination continuously experienced by almost everyone, a fractal amalgamation of AR, VR, old internet, and cyberspace. The net is an omnipresent deity. It is everywhere, in everything, in everyone. Impossible to map or escape. Always trying to sell you something, keep you scared, or hack your behavior. So the net is the cyborg internet, except dark and omnipresent, and a mix of AR and VR, so you're always interacting with it. And it's horrifying. And yeah, you use this retinal communication device, an RCD, to interface with it. And hopefully you don't bleed out of your eyes and nose like the person in that art piece on the other side of the spread.
Dude, it's crazy too. The person's like they're bleeding out from underneath it with their eyes up, screaming with these like wires coming out the top, and then they're in this like punk vest with spikes and stuff. I'm curious. It has a DIS on one of the arms, and I'm curious about what that is a reference to. There's two things. One is dis, which is a realm of hell, right? One of the circles of hell. The other is DIS. What have we looked at lately that is DIS?
Death in Space.
Death in Space, baby. So I'm curious if that is just a nod to Death in Space, or if it's a nod to the Circle of Hell dis.
Well, what about the tattoo on the left arm?
On the
same arm.
The shoulder?
The shoulder. Yeah. The fucking, what does that say? I was trying to figure it out. It looks like Mork Borg font, though, you know?
It does. It's a very Mork Borg-y font, and it's a skull. Well, it's a skeleton with a guy banging a drum.
Yeah.
I can't tell what it says on the arm, though.
See, this is how you know we're real fans of fucking Mork Borg, because we're like, we're just going to look at all these references that's made in the art.
Because and just try to at least, yeah.
We're going to try to decipher it.
It's sick. Whatever it is, that's my curiosity is some of the references, and if this is a nod to the other game put out by Stockholm Cartel this year, and if it is, that'd be super cool. But yeah,
the fucking net, man. Yeah, so the net, and it goes into detail here, and it says in the net, diving into it takes mental resilience, it takes mental fortitude, you can die, and then apparently it's the worst way to die, but they say such warnings lack imagination.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I definitely really want to play this, and I very much want to play the hacker class in this. I really want to very badly.
We'll get to the classes. You can talk about the hacker.
We're gonna get there.
Because you know which one I'm talking about.
Now we have the miserable headlines, which is the corporos control all the news, right? But every once in a while, an article comes out, a headline comes out that is the absolute truth, or is a truth. And the GM each day at midnight is going to roll to activate one miserable headline. And the great thing about these miserable headlines are, you're encouraged as a game master to change them a little bit to where they directly affect your players. And I fucking love that. Yeah, at midnight, a headline came out that the city that you're in is in flames, or whatever. There are, I think it's D66 options, right?
Yeah, well, so this is just the replacement for miseries. Miserable headlines is miseries. So you still get the same kind of time frame at the bottom, because you roll a dice at midnight. A D4 means constant. Every time you get a 1, you'll roll 1. D4 means constantly getting headlines. D6 means weekly headlines. D12 is bi-weekly. D20 is monthly, and D100 is quarterly. Because statistically, obviously, on a D4, you're going to roll a 1 a lot. Right. So shorter campaigns, you get fucked here. But I love, just like in Mork Borg, that you get a...
the 7th
this
one?
is like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 versus Mork Borg, which was more like a biblical, like...
Oh yeah, it was like a Psalms
7-7.
Whatever,
yeah, it was like the Psalms. So this is just a different kind of like tech way to do it. Do you want to?
I fucking absolutely want to.
Why don't you roll 2 6s and just pick a headline, and I'll roll 2 6s too.
Okay, I got 4-5. Eco-terrorism, an archaeological sized alien plant organism has appeared overnight in the barnyard field. Scientists have yet to determine its origin or threat potential, as comms have been glitching and casualties from its arrival are mutated beyond field lab analysis. Plant attack arena. Join the battle. Oh, well, yeah, it has a little bit. Join the battle for the barnyard fields in the glorious 100K trim of hedges of hell, with over 500 unique weapons. Real-time feed the game AVR. Oh, there's a fucking, like, you can, like, play a game? What the fuck, dude? That's wild. What was yours?
I got 5-5. Let me bring this back up, because Acrobat's having an issue with my stuff. What page are we on?
33.
Why are you giving me internal processing errors and being out of memory? Just opening up an Adobe Acrobat. Give me 1 second to bring all this back up and just shut Acrobat down. There we go. Being a pain. We are having some tech issues today.
We're having a weird day. Of course, when we're doing Cyborg, we're gonna have tech issues, you know?
Of course. We're definitely not on page 33. Oh, just 33. Internal page 33. So I'm on the spread, so it's like half that. I'm so sorry.
It is internal page 19.
I'm actually in spread for one freaking time. I got 55, and it's Cyborg's win, which, if you see the picture above, it is a sporting event in which Cyborg's win 17-14. And it said celebratory fan riot shut down multiple city blocks with no sign of stopping. This goes on for weeks.
This riot goes on for weeks. Cyborgs don't get tired quickly, so it makes sense. No.
So I love all those headlines, but if you get the 7-7, the 7th time you get the headline, you get the same one every time. The final one that ends it all. You want to read? You want to read that?
Yeah, I absolutely read it. So 0-0, new game plus. Are we living in a simulation? Reactor Magnificus Professor Dr. Durer Evans at CY has found proof that the world is a simulation run by unknown entities. Everyone could not be reached for further comment. In 12 hours, the simulation resets. Replay the entire campaign. Fantastic.
Dope.
Reboots.
Dope. Love it. Just a reboot. Which, one of the greatest cartoons of all time. Reboot.
What was Reboot?
Oh man, you're too young for that.
Bob, I'm not that much younger.
In the internet? Yeah, but in cartoons as a kid world,
that's
5
true.
years
It was like
is a long
2
time.
years, you know? Like,
yeah.
No, I never saw that.
I am significantly older than you. I'm like 6 or 7 years older than you.
Well, it ran from 94 to 2001, so...
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also grew up with, like, Thundercats. I had Thundercats underwear.
I think that fucking slapped, bro.
Thundercats did slap all day.
The remake wasn't bad, so...
Yeah. So prior to getting into chapter 2, the system, we're going to take a quick break. And then we will be back to talk about rule number 00. So we will see you in just a moment, people. Hello, and welcome back to the Weekly Scroll podcast, where we're going over Cyborg. So we are going to jump into chapter 2, the system. So love this page, love this spread. One of the best pages in the book. It's very clean. It just has a system header And then it says this: you are encouraged to break every single rule in this book except this one. Rule number 00. Player characters cannot be loyal to or have sympathy for the corpse, the cops, or the capitalist system.
Fuck the system, motherfucker.
They might find themselves reluctantly forced to do missions for them or their minions, but make no mistake, they are the enemy.
Hell yeah. I'm into this.
I wish this was the part of real life that was like real life.
Hey, listen, if you're listening to this podcast or watching us anywhere, I want you to know from me, Hunter, fuck the police. Don't tell them shit.
Please don't talk to the police. Keep your mouth shut. They're not your friend. They're really not your friend. They can't help you. Just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Just keep your fucking mouth shut.
That's it. So we are getting into the system. I like the system is kind of a double little meaning there in that it is the game system, but also the system in a computer. You get it. So when you make a character, you begin with 2d6 times 10 on creds on an anonymous cred stick, some cheap clothes, and a retinal comm device, an RCD. Yeah. And
I just rolled 2 6s.
Oh shit!
For cred,
so you get.
I start with big money, baby.
666. Cred. Yeah. What? 2d6 is 12. Oh yeah, 12 times 10 is 120. But it takes 1,000 in a private bank account to not die when you die. So you still broke as fuck. It talked about RCD. It's a lifelike eyes, chromed out headsets with everything in between. Basically you can make your RCD whatever you want your RCD to be, and there's this fucking badass piece of art here of this punk motherfucker with his RCD on with a massive gun and a blood covered knife, wearing like a flak jacket and overalls tied around their waist, and you can see a dagger sticking out of it. I just with the pink and the blue and the yellow, I just love the mix of like cyberpunk and then again like the bloody blades and giant swords and stuff kind of mixed into it. It's just such a good vibe. But yeah, so on top of your clothes, cred sticks, and RCD, you get cash and gear. So why don't you roll me a D8, a D12, and a D12.
I got a 4 for the D8. I got a pack of real tobacco trademark smokes. And then I got on the first D12, I got a 9, a grappling hook crossbow. Fuck yeah, cool. And on the second one, I got a 6. I got an optic camo suit. My fucking character is kitted, bro. 120 creds, which I know you're poor, but it's the most you can get. But fucking, I'm not doing bad.
But fucking, there's a little line on the side of the page, all the way to the far right, kind of down the edge, and it says, the definition of you is up for debate and hack attacks. What is a person? Nice little throw on there. So, and then it's got a really nice kind of like step by step, make a punk of what to do with their character. So you can start with optional hacks. So just like Mork Borg, classes are optional. You can totally play classes. You don't need to do that. But you would start with choose or randomize a class and follow the class's instructions for gear, abilities, hit points, and glitches. If you go with the optional choice of a class, then you roll your abilities. And then another optional choice, if you go with a class, is to roll your features, style, and obsessions. Oh no, you don't necessarily need a class for that. You can do feature, style, and obsession without doing the class. Randomize your stuff is the next thing. Roll your glitches is next. Roll your hit points is next. Give your punk a name and get shit done are all there. One thing that did I miss in the beginning? There's not a table of contents in the beginning, is there?
There's not. And it's not.
Is there a table of contents at the end?
I don't know. I'll scroll down to the end. You can keep going.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know.
Cover is so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry for people watching this, and this is just flying by. So let me know. So then we get to the damn, no table of contents in the entire book, Johan.
No, it makes sense. This is not like, this is an art book. This is an art book, you know.
But there's a table of contents at the back of Mork Borg. And it's hyperlinked. So next page, we're getting into the nitty gritty of the system. Abilities, and what's interesting about abilities in this one, it's based.
Yeah, there is one. It's hyperlinked too. Sorry, my bad.
There we go. All right, we'll find it at the end then. What's interesting about this versus Mork Borg, it's basically Mork Borg. It's, you have your abilities, you roll 3d6 on each one. There is a score table at the bottom, so you can go from -3 to +3 on your abilities. There are some classes that allow you to roll 4d6 and drop 2 of the lowest. But generally it's 3d6 for each ability. There are tests, which it's called tests in this game. Some games call them like checks, but this one's called tests. You have to succeed on a test. To succeed on a test, you roll d20 plus your ability, and you have to get above a DR. Standard DR is 12, but you can go from simple at 6 all the way up to almost impossible at 18. And it's also player-facing game, so enemies and opponents don't roll to attack. Instead, the player characters roll to defend or resist.
Love it.
All Mork Borg. All exactly Mork Borg, right? Except there are 4 stats in Mork Borg. There are 5 stats in CY BORG. So in Mork Borg, you also have agility, which is sneak, dodge, drive, auto fire, dodge. Then you have presence checks, which in this game is snipe, shoot, use nano, and charm. There's strength checks, which is strike, grapple, lift, and throw. There's toughness checks, which is survive, falling, poison, and elements. But they also add in knowledge in CY BORG, which is science and then use tech or app. So I think that was, I mean, you kind of have to, because if you just do agility, presence, strength, and toughness, like what stat would you use for like using tech?
Yeah, totally.
You know?
No, it was very much a necessary ad. Also, it's classless punks roll 4d6, drop the lowest.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, classless punks. Yeah. So if you ain't got no class, you roll 46. So yeah. So again, the base rules, the very, very base mechanics are, again, it's a Mork Borg hack. It's Mork Borg. But throw some knowledge on there and a whole lot of corporate hate, valid, amazing, necessary.
I wonder where we fall on the political spectrum. Also, can we just take a second to look at not the center of the page, but everything else? The emails on the back left, and this like incident report on the top back left, and in the bottom right you have your little coffee mug. Oopsie! It looks like you are near your current free minutes limit. Remember, exceeding the limit is against company policy and will result in a negative salary code. Have a productive day.
Yep. And the very bottom left in little letters, it says, "To be loyal is to be loved." I love the like unnecessarily like toxic positivity of like corporate jargon.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It also talks about carrying capacity on this, which is really cool. I don't know why I've been obsessed with like item management and carrying capacity lately, but I have been. But it says you can carry strength plus 8 normal size items without a problem. After that, strength and agility DRs increase by 2, but you can't carry more than twice strength plus 2. Because kind of like if you're already over, why not say fuck it, just be a fucking pack horse? And this says So yeah. And then so we're getting into the classes, the optional classes. I'm going to talk about one and you talk about one. Which one did you want to do?
I would like to do the Burn Hacker.
Okay, well then I obviously am going to do the Shun Nanomancer.
Good. That's the other best. Well, that's my other favorite one.
Yeah.
They're all really good. And none of them are bad. We've read through all of them. They're all very, very good.
They're all amazing. But obviously, again, if you know me, I was going to do the Shun Nanomancer. Like, it's not a real question. So we'll dig into these a little bit and go over these 2 classes a little bit heavier. So the Shunned Nanomancer, first of all, the art on this is fucking gorgeous. It's a black page, and then you got these 3 figures. The one on the right has like plants growing out of his head. It reminds me a whole lot of Hell's Paradise. I don't know if you've read that manga. It's the 3rd of the Dark Trilogy, the Shonen Dark Trilogy. Homie, Get on
Why
it.
do you keep making these? What the fuck? Why do you keep making references? Why are you trying to embarrass me on our fucking show, bro?
Listen, on the last episode where you're like, you haven't seen a Red Persona? Rah, rah, rah. You only watched the one bad season of JoJo.
Persona.
Rah, rah,
It's
rah.
a great game.
Come on. Rah, rah, rah. Anyway. Hell's Paradise is amazing, and it's actually getting an adaptation from Mappa. So get on that shit. It's really, really good. Read it. It's all done too. But anyway, so it's one figure is like covered with flowers and plants growing out of its head, which is really badass. The middle one is this almost skeletal guy with this like maybe third eye in its forehead, and then the one on the left is this bald guy with a raven sitting on top of it. And yeah, really cool. So it's inside you, infesting your brain, warping your flesh. People are afraid of you now. They're afraid of the power that poisons you, and you're scared too. So HP is toughness plus D4. You get D2 glitches. For weird, you roll 3d6 plus 2 for presence. You have ill, which means you roll 3d6 minus 2 for toughness. Because don't forget, if you pick classes, you don't roll the standard stats. You roll what the class tells you to. You start with one random nano power. Any starting app or cybertech is replaced with a random nano. Roll D6 for weapon and D2 for armor. So we'll get to nano stuff in a little bit. You also have one of these. So let me roll 1d6 real quick. I got 5. So I get an elongated, pointed, and semi-translucent skull. Your brain shines.
I love that one.
Your brain shines underneath, emitting light like that of a candle. So good.
So fucking funny. It reminds me a little bit of the aliens from that really terrible Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, yeah. Another one is scales covering your body. A second mouth for navel. Burnt orange stone-like skin, milk white eyes that see through lies is cool, and a strange leaf-looking knife. All give different various benefits. And then you also get kind of this quasi-background origin. You got infected when, and it's a 1d6. I got a 3, which means you found drugs. Free drugs. They were neither drugs nor entirely free. That is how I got infected. So I became the Shun Nanomancer, because you are infected with something. And that is the basis for the class. It's a full spread. Again, so many spreads in this book.
Yeah.
But again, one of the reasons I do pages more than spreads is for readability. Readability is really fucking crushing it in here. Like, you can easily look at the spreads and pull in the information and absorb it, which I really love.
Absolutely.
And the very next one is yours. It is the Burned Hacker.
The Burned Hacker, which actually I screenshotted this, and the left side of the spread with the guy as the background on my phone now, because I was like, this is fucking cool. It's so cool looking. It actually,
it is.
I don't know why, but I think this might be my favorite character art in this so far. It's very, very cool.
It's so good, yeah.
I might actually message Johan and see if he has this without the words, because I want to get it tattooed on me. It's pretty cool. I need to go get a new tattoo, bro. Okay.
Same.
You were one of the sharpest deckers inside. No one could use tech or warp the world with an app like you could. A bunch of at symbols. You don't know what went wrong. You messed up. Maybe you were tricked. Maybe you got sloppy. You glimpsed a terrible truth, and now you're burnt. No collective, no fallback, no nothing. Abilities. You start with HP is toughness plus D6. Start with D2 glitches. Cutting edge, you roll 3d6 plus 2 for knowledge. Unhealthy living, you roll 3d6 minus 1 for strength and toughness. Makes sense. You're a decker, you're a hacker, you're sitting a lot. Same. You start with a cyber deck with knowledge plus 4 slots and a random app. Any rolled nano or cyber tech is replaced with a new random app. Roll D8 for weapon, D2 for armor, and D6 times 10 times 1 credit for dead. Because everyone starts with dead.
60-10 times 1,000.
Times 1,000.
Roll 60-10, son. This is your debt, kid.
32. So
32,000.
So 320,000. Is that what it'd be at? Yeah, after 10. Wow.
No, it's 32 times 1,000.
No, 32. Oh yeah, times 1,000. I don't know why I was thinking times
32,000. That sucks.
32,000. We're good at math. We're having technical issues and we're bad at math today.
And for those that didn't get, burned hacker means burned, like burn notice. Like you were part of a collective in something and you got burned, as in like you lost everything. Yeah, you're blacklisted.
You built an app. So you're going to start with an app. So I'm going to roll a D6. The app I started with 3, boom, boom, D4 near simple devices, lamps, monitors, cameras, etc. explode. D6 damage to up to D4 targets. They just fucking explode. You just cause it to explode around you.
Nice.
On a deep dive of cybercosmos, you found a terrible truth. Another D6. And that is that rogue AI are flocking to CY more so than anywhere else in the world. Wonder why. But yeah, I really like this. I like this like esoteric hacker that makes these apps that do a bunch of stuff. And there's other apps later on that we'll get to that are what the hacker takes instead of doing like nano or cyber tech. Because cyber tech is also a thing that one of the other character classes uses, I believe.
You got one last D6. That deep dive in the cyber cosmos, you found a terrible truth. What terrible truth did you find?
I just did that.
What did you get? I thought you just did the app.
No, I just did the number 3, the rogue AI.
Oh, you did 3. You did 2 3s. That fucked me up.
That fucking because you did the boom Google boom dice, baby.
Yeah. The other classes we have in here, again, we're just going to touch on them, is the Discharge Corp Killer, which basically means you were like a corporate soldier, a good soldier in bad company, always fighting someone else's war in the name of greed. Great piece of art. I love the like kind of like the AR thing over it said this is unauthorized, do not comply. But clearly like a very tanky badass. Another great piece of art. The Orphaned Gearhead.
I think this is my second favorite. You know?
Yeah, this is a great piece. People are unreliable, socially, physically, emotionally, weak bodies and weaker wills. This reminds me of if Ed from Cowboy Bebop was like super dark and fucked up. Yeah. And I love the giant machine, which is I think it's probably the walking weapon platform, D6, the number 6. And on it says like this machine makes folk music, like sprayed on it, which cracks me the fuck up. Yeah.
That's so fucking funny, dude. Holy shit.
A lot of graffiti on it. This next spread, again, all the classes are fucking cool. I love this guy, the Renegade Cyber Slasher.
Yeah.
It's a giant pink page with this dude with this hood over its head with a star on it. And he's holding a flail and a blade and these like pants that say ogre on it. And you are death incarnate, a frenzied flurry of chrome, murder, and blood. Long story short, you're a cybernetically enhanced assassin that used to kill for a cause, and now you kill for money. And I love some of the stuff in it, like your you start each day, so you have this very ritualistic, like kind of like American Psycho, like I have to start like this. So one of them is like obsessively laying out your clothes and cleaning your gear, or assiduously mining your 3 favorite plants. Like this very kind of like obsessive, like keep it all in line kind of thing, which is great. And then the next one is a Forsaken Gangoon. Another amazing piece of art. I love that he's kind of looking back over his shoulder with a very like punk like mohawk. On the backpack, there's a couple of badges that are a couple of stickers that are cool or writing. The one says "This future sucks."
This future sucks is such a good one.
Yeah. Another one says "Eat the police." But across a chainsaw, it says "Divide and conquer," which cracks me the fuck up because it's a chainsaw. That's what it does. And basically, like you were once a member of a gang, and the gang's gone, and you're what's left. So really, really cool class there. Really great piece of art. And that's all of the classes. I think there are 6 classes, a lot of D6s in this game to roll that out. So really, really cool. Again, honestly, I would probably either pick, I would obviously go with the Shun Nanomancer first, and then I'd probably go with the Renegade's Cyber Slasher.
Respectful.
And then you went, what did you go again?
I would go Burned Hacker or Orphan Gearhead.
Orphan Gearhead. Yeah. I like that we don't often pick the same one. We have very different takes and styles on the way we play the game.
I honestly cannot get over the fact that the fucking walking weapon platform says this machine makes folk music on it, because I think that is a fucking hilarious nod.
It is. It is. It's fantastic.
It's so fucking funny, dude.
So we're getting to another big spread here. It's optional PC NPC tables. It's this big pink spread with this like side profile of this really badass, obviously cyberpunky person with spikes down their back and yellow eyes and this mechanical stuff on their neck. But this is for styles and features, and I think wants, needs, all the stuff. So why don't you roll a D100 for style, and I will too.
I got orbital. I'm a space boy. I'm a little space hacker boy. You know.
I got ghoul, which makes sense for my.
Well, it makes sense for yours.
Yep. And my shun nanomancer. What about your feature? Another 100.
89, which is transparent wear. So I'm like, I'm wearing transparent clothing. I'm a little space boy, space hacker boy who's walking around almost naked.
Almost naked. Got some underoos on though, maybe. I got a 48, which is holomorphed face. Again, really, really on top of it there.
Yeah, it really makes sense.
And then do a D20, a D20, and a D100. I'm gonna put pants on.
Okay, for my wants, for my first D20, I rolled a 7. So I want freedom. It totally makes sense. And then for my quirk, I got a 16, which is rapid blinking. So I am a cyber hacker with a very spacey type of style that's wearing transparent clothes. I only really want freedom, and I blink a lot. Then for my current obsession, I got 73. Stem smokes. I'm really into stem smokes. I'll have one lit up all the time, help me zone in and focus. It's like Adderall cigarettes,
There you go. Didn't you start with a pack of real tobacco cigarettes too?
I did start with a pack of real tobacco cigarettes.
I love when roll tables. I know humans will put patterns together to do stuff. That's why our brains work. But I love when roll tables are just like, this totally fucking makes sense. It's D100 and somehow it's perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
For my once and quirk, I got I want enlightenment, which makes sense. Again, I'm the shun nanomancer. I'm basically the warlocky guy. I got number 6. My quirk is that I fiddle with jewelry. Interesting. And my current obsession is 71 sneakers. Love them kicks, yo.
Got this fucking Air Force 55s or whatever.
Air Force 55, yeah. I love that. I can imagine my guy like all fucking like half skeletal, like warlocky robes and shit, and then just like crisp as fuck sneakers, no creases, no nothing.
Dude, I can't crouch here. I'll crease my fucking sneakers.
Seriously,
man.
Wait a minute. I need to take my shoes off real quick so I can bend down. And then a great piece of art on the left here. It's this kind of very pixelated person on a motorcycle with a helmet that almost kind of looks like Berserk, kind of, when he has like I can't remember the name of the armor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
when he gets
I do know what you're talking about. What's the name of the armor?
That's what it is. Weapons. Why don't you roll a D12 and we'll each pick a weapon.
Actually, I am a hacker. I roll a D8.
Oh, sick. I don't remember if mine's different.
And I rolled a fucking 8. I got a mono sword, baby. I got a single blade sword.
Does D8 damage. I got a 5, so mine would be a smart gun. It's D6 A damage, D10 damage with the smart jack if I have one. I was reading, there's another thing down the side. It says customize, personalize, MAH, loud, make a loud statement. That's what it says on the side for the weapons. And then armor is, there's 6 stages of armor, or 6 tiers. D3 or by class. So you would roll a D3 to see what you would get, or by class. Tier 0 is no armor. Tier 1 is Style Guard, which is a -2 damage soak. Tier 2 is Rough, which is a -4 damage soak. It's heavy duty jacket of full Kevlar. Oh, the Style Guard looks just like clothes. There are costs by these two. The Tier 1 armor is 100 credits.
I love the fucking price tags next to them.
Dude, it's fucking price tags. Like, it's so good. Smartwear is another Tier 2 with a D4 damage choke, but it is the 4th on the list. Equipped with Adrenochrome auto-injector that fires if the wearer is battered. That's cool. Combat armor is Tier 3. It's D6 soak, but it's +2 DR on agility tests, including defense. So basically, like, it's more armor, but you're slower in it. Then the final one, you're clunky boy, is number 6 is an in-game class exosuit. It's a D8 damage soak, but it's got multiple customizable injectors, jump jets, motorized joints, and more. It's not for sale. It's basically, it's an exosuit. Like, it's a machine suit, but you get +4 DR on agility tests. Defense is +2 DR. Toughness and strength are -2 DR. But you can jump 4 times your regular height and length. Basically, you're slow as fuck, but you're really tough and strong, and you can jump real high in it. And there's a cool piece next to it where it's like a dispenser for smartwear, and a guy just dead below it, bleeding out, which is cool. And on the same page, you have, you have a debt. And it's got in a second I'll talk about my favorite roll table in the entire game. But why don't we each roll a d12 to see what are, well, so we start with 3d6 times 1, but you got to start with a lot more.
I started with 10d6.
It was like 10d is 60 10 times 1,000.
Oh yeah, 60 10 times 1,000. So I think I ended up with what we say
it was like 32,000.
Yeah, 32,000. Yeah, I think so. I ended up with
Yeah. So I got, and mine just says times 1.00. So I don't know if that dot is just mean it's times 1, or if it's like the European way that a period is a comma.
It's a comma.
Yeah.
It's a comma. Because if you look at all the other price that has it, it's the same.
Yeah. So I got 14,000, and you have 32,000. But somehow on my debt, I rolled a 6, a 2, and a 6. So that sucked for me. And then who do you owe your debt to is a 1d12. I got 11. A semi-sentient AI cluster slowly building up its influence.
I got a perfect one. I got 2, an anonymous hacker collective.
Perfect. I mean, yeah, how great is that?
Perfect.
And then my favorite table in the whole game is here at the bottom. I'm going to zoom in on it for you homies out there in cyberspace, and we'll talk about it for all the podcast watchers. It's my favorite table. How badly do they want their cash back? As in the debt you owe to who? I owe 14,000 creds to a semi-sentient AI cluster slowly building up its influence. And the roll table is how badly do they want their cash back? It's a D6. And 1 through 6 is very. I love that it's a D6 table with one option. No matter what you roll, obviously on a 1 through 6, there's only one choice, and they want it back very badly. I don't know why it cracks me up so bad that they did a D6 table with one option on it, but it does.
So
it tickles
funny,
me.
Dude.
It tickles me to no fucking end. Like, I just love that so much. Equipment. I don't think we really need to go over a ton. Some items are available as cyber
really
tech implants. Yeah.
And
you want to pick one?
Transport's cool, you know?
Yeah. So let's look at some of these real quick. Backpack cyber deck is knowledge +1 slots is how much it takes up. Fake ID, foldable ladder. Didn't you get a grappling hook crossbow?
I did.
Dope. Multi-tool, noisemaker, super glue, surveillance drone. Oh, I love that the X's are illegal or require security operative license, and without it, SecOps are authorized to shoot to kill. So lockpicks will shoot to kill, fake ID is shoot to kill, face block, bioscanner.
Face block's cool.
Oh, you have a grappling hook crossbow, which means shoot to kill. Yep. Transport is cool here because it's credits per for using it for one trip, a monthly fee, or to own it. So an old school motorcycle is 15 credits for one trip, 300 credits for a monthly fee, or 3 to 9K to own it. Octocopter, any of these you wanna talk about?
I actually just cared about the old school motorcycle and the cyber bike because in a dystopian future, your boy's getting a motorcycle. Nothing matters. I don't care if I get hit. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just like if they have this option. You know, like I like that it's here,
absolutely.
and I like if they have a once a monthly rent and then own. You know.
Mm-hmm. You can lease or rent basically, or you can rent, lease, or own. That's cool. I like it. Housing options: a coffin hotel, which I assume by coffin hotel they mean like
it must be small. It must be tiny.
So small.
You know.
So like micro. And then you can get all the way up to an ARC apartment, which I assume the aim is 1 million. So it's 100 million credits.
That's a lot. So
yeah, and a Hills apartment or villa, the monthly rent is 2 million credits. And for own it, it just says forget it. Other services: gear repair, cred chip laundering, cybertech jailbreak, ad blocking, doxing. You can dox people. You can just go to a hacker and be like, dox that motherfucker. You know? Complete identity fabrication is only 5K credits. And then there's food, maker-made street, sit-in or takeaway, fine dining, VIP chef restaurant with real meat is only 40 creds. Put it on the tab, baby. Yeah. Oh, and then there's a whole nother table of weapons for sale. So I assume you don't get to start with these, but you can find them around. Any stick out to you?
I mean, it has the ones that are on the starting table that you roll, but there's also some better ones.
There's more ones, yeah. Like rocket launchers.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in the single use booster mods.
Yeah.
I like.
Oh yeah, those are dope.
I like Inferno. It just deals 3 extra damage. I like very straightforward stuff. Is there one for?
So basically, it's basically like special bullets. It says single-use boosters modify a single shot with special abilities. The attack deals normal damage unless noted and can be used with most modern firearms. So yeah, the knocker is cool. Deals D2 damage, test toughness, DR12, or be knocked out for D3 rounds, which is cool.
That's a great one.
But the ammo choice, or the ammo rules are cool. So they're listed here. So ammo, after combat, roll D8 for each weapon you have fired, or D6 if you've used auto fire. A 1 to 3 result means you are out of ammo and have to reload. So basically, you never have to worry about how much ammo you have. Right. After combat, you roll to see if you have any ammo left or not. And it says regular ammo costs 10% of a new weapon's price. For weapons without a listed price, assume the ammo is harder to get and price can vary between 60 and 120 credits. I really, really like that whole thing. Don't worry about how much ammo you have. Just do it after.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Conditions in Death in Space, where they're just like, if you fight with shit at the end of every combat, see if you broke. And totally. I really like that. They're like, don't fuck with it during, don't do whatever. When you're wrapping up and figuring out, all the rest of it, see if your stuff is broken down a level or not. And I really, really like that. That's super concept.
Ideal. Honestly, I might take that because I like there to be ammo mechanics, but I don't like when it's like you're counting bullets and like mid combat, you're like, oh, I'm out of bullets now, so combat's gonna fucking suck.
No.
I want you dude, you're out. You have to go buy, you have to go live in the world, But I also like how it's just like you're rolling to see if you have any left, and if you don't, it's like, fuck, I can't believe I finished that off with my last bullet. You know what I mean? Like you're not even combat is so fast. There's no fucking way you're like 1 bullet left. You know what I mean? It's not fucking Deadpool. Yeah.
We don't have a budget that we can't use a bunch of big bullet fights for and have to create a funny ass mechanic for. You want to talk about some drugs?
Here's a great spread's coming up. A great, fantastic spread.
Take it away.
Drugs, baby. It's the future. It's dystopian. We're doing drugs. My guy's got his fucking Adderall cigarettes he's doing, but every once in a while he might hit some of that sunset chalk, if you know what I mean. So if you're listening, there's an amazing spread. On the left-hand side, it tells us a list of drugs are available. On the right, you have this woman who's like very dreamy and faded out, and you kind of double vision. She has 2 pairs of lips that are overlapping, like 2 sets of eyes that are kind of overlapping. Like you're just kind of
4 sets of eyes, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking. Oh, 4 sets of eyes. Oh yeah, it's visually confusing to even look at.
Yeah. What's interesting about this piece too is it's one of the only pieces in the book that's clearly like a collage of like a real person.
Yeah.
Where everything else is like clearly drawn. This is so like crisp because it's like real, but like again, like you said, like it's like off as if there was like overlaid images, but just like the eyes, lips, and mouth. Yeah, super fucking trippy.
It's interesting because like the art in Mork Borg is really good. It's not that it's overly consistent throughout because it kind of changes up, but in this book, like the art really changes pace to like really reinforce exactly what you're reading or looking at, and it does it really well. But it all still feels in line. It doesn't feel really out of left field. You're like, oh, this totally makes sense for what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's do a couple drugs. You want to roll a D12 for me, and I'll roll a D12.
Absolutely.
For the record, go ahead and tell yours real quick.
Oh, I got Miura. Interesting. Test toughness DR12 or frenzy for D6 rounds. Striking at random targets in range with the most effective weapon available. Attacks are DR10 and defense is DR14.
Hell yeah. Go off. I got pink ooze. Stimulates all pain and pleasure receptors at the same time, apparently. Toughness is DR14 or all hits received during the following 5 minutes deal an additional D4 damage.
That was sick.
Yeah, pass the toughness check or else everything fucking hurts a lot. But I made a reference to Sunset Chalk, which is number 3. Rolled up, which is it's a toughness that's a DR14 or unable to use violence for the 10 minutes. You know,
nice.
Just too chilled out, man. You're too relaxed.
Yeah. It's a sunset, man. Just take a break. Did you get the reference in mine? Number 4? I actually just got it.
No, give it to me. What is it?
Miura. Kentaro Miura. The mangaka for Berserk.
Oh.
And then the drug is
Berserk. It's been too long.
Oh yeah, toughness DR12 or frenzy for D6 rounds. Like, like the references in this. The references,
slow, bro.
Yeah, well, we're both sleepy. We're sleepy boys in the morning. I got off work and yeah. So, cyber tech. You want to roll a D20? See what kind of cyber tech
I do. This is also, I really like this piece of art. This like statue of this ideal man, but now it's got a bunch of fucking. Am I doing 20?
Yeah, dude, it 20, is. Baby, it's like Greek. It's a Greek statue, and then overlaid over it is this kind of like pixelated, kind of opaque yellow art with like horns and like a flak jacket, and like one is like a gun on a hand, and the other is like a bladed, almost like Wolverine style hand on it. So fucking cool.
I rolled 16, a handy bot. I have a detachable drone hand with a range of 50 meters.
Oh,
it's a great range.
You got a detachable handy bot there, bud.
Dude, that's fucking sick.
It is dope. I got 19, which is skeleplating. It is a skeleton covered in a thin metal layer plus 10 HP. And it cost 15K. I love how expensive everything is and how broke as fuck you are. And not only are you broke, you're in debt by thousands and thousands of credits.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then apps. You want to talk about apps? Because apps is your dude's
apps is
expertise.
My character's thing, yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it 12? I think it's a 12, right? I rolled on this a couple times earlier.
Yeah. 12.
I got a 7. The defense Take control of a nearby turret, drone, or similar defense system for D6 rounds. That's fucking sick.
It's dope. It's dope. I got a 5. It's the sigil tag. This location and nearby systems are tagged with your invisible sigil, enabling you to remotely activate apps as if you were present. Only 2 locations can be tagged at the same time. So I got air tags, so I can track cool. people like real life. Fucking air tags. Yeah. Getting more apps. New apps are hard to find, and hackers willing to sell often ask for something like this in return. Ooh, want to roll a 1d10 and see what the hacker is offering for more apps for your hacker boy?
I rolled a 10.
Ooh.
Read it off to me. What is it?
Get rid of the hacker's creditor. It's a hit.
Oh.
Fucking do it. If it was that easy, where if I had debt, I could just go, I'm not going to finish that. But yeah, there is also hacking without apps. Gathering information through non-app hacking requires a cyber deck and is a time-consuming downtime activity. Test knowledge to break into data nodes. Failing the test means that the hacker is discovered, and the data owners and their SecOps team will respond somehow. A fumble triggers a backlash.
A backlash.
Whole page of app backlashes.
I'm going to roll for a backlash.
So we've hit the section of the book, which is basically like the last half of the book, which is pretty much just roll tables. It's just all roll tables. But you got some lore, you got a little bit of system, which is basically just Mork Borg plus knowledge, and then you got roll tables, roll tables, roll tables. It's a D20.
For backlashes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled an 11. A feedback buzz hits you for D6 damage, blinding you for D4 rounds as one of your eyeballs boils in its socket.
Dude. I rolled an 11 too, so I rerolled and got a 9. A mistake causes a loop back, and you successfully use the app, but with the wrong target or a reverse effect. The exact details are up to the GM. I love these. These are basically like app fumbles are basically like spell fumbles, and this is basically like a spell fumble table. Every time you try to use your app, there's a possibility that you fuck up, and a fumble is obviously like a nat 1. So really cool. I love tables inside tables. So number 20, you stumble upon an extrinsic presence, perhaps an AI or something worse. And then if you roll a 20, you got to roll a d6. You want to roll a d6 and see what's worse?
Yeah, I rolled a 5. It possesses you and your deck. All tech app related rolls are minus 2 DR for d6 round. From this moment, you and it are one. You see the sidewalk cracks and connect into strange symbols and ads flicker in repeating patterns, and the net artifacts spell out ciphered code. It is a countdown you're not supposed to see.
So dope. You have to get max to roll twice, basically. Yeah, everything about this is so cool. So nano powers, that's something that my shunned nanomancer gets. And anytime I think every time you roll anything besides app, like nano powers, you roll app instead.
I roll app instead, yeah.
And anytime I get anything like app, I roll nano powers instead. So nano powers are strange powers rumored to be, let me zoom in on this for the homies.
For the homies.
For the people that are watching this stream, so you can see a little bit easier. Strange powers rumored to be an infection of an alien bacteria riding nano robots. Fuck, come on, like, how fucking cool. It's not just an infection, it's not nanobots, it's infected bacteria nanobots. They first appeared in the incident's aftermath. As a host of this parasitic menace, you are granted curious powers, a blessing, or perhaps you are merely a conduit for something you cannot comprehend. Each power comes linked with a random infestation, which may trigger and make your day worse. Test presence tier 12 when you want to use your power. Success means you activate the power. A failure hurts you for D2 damage, and a fumble also triggers the infestation linked to that power. Each nano use adds +1 to the risk of fumbling when using nano powers until the next day. I love that using it makes it harder to use it.
Yeah.
I love that mechanic. I really, really like that a lot. This reminds me of basically like scrolls, kind of.
Yeah.
How you have to test presence to be able to access the scrolls. Do you want to roll a DR12?
Yeah, I rolled a 7. Chill of the Void. Up to D4 targets test toughness DR14 or take D4 damage. The next round, the test is DR16 and the damage taken is D8. In the third and fourth rounds, the test is DR16 and the damage taken is 2D10. Frost covers the area and snowflakes float in the air. So you can do some massive fucking damage potentially to your enemies, to 4 enemies.
Absolutely. I got number 2, pineal gland stimulation. For D4 rounds, you can feel nearby data flows. You can hear a short conversation or message, sense the direction of a large data source, or see the last few seconds of the most recently recorded information on a device. Cool. Another one that's really cool is the dead cell spirits. By consuming a handful of something dead, you can relive their last moments as if through a hazy and distorted lens. Test presence CR14 to avoid taking D6 damage from ego death. So good. But also, I think it said, like, if you have an infestation, you have an infection, right?
Right.
Each power comes linked with a random infestation, which may trigger. So D20 infestations. Roll that up, son.
D20 infestations, baby. I got myself a 19 bestial enlarged maw. It splits in 2 and grows even larger when triggered. You take D8 damage but can bite for D6 damage for the next hour.
Dope.
Horrifying.
Horrifyingly dope. I got cold. Number 16, humidity turns to frost on your cold skin. Your body temperature drops and the air around you seems to freeze. You and everyone close to you act with +2 DR for the next minute. So don't forget, pluses are bad. It adds to the difficulty that you're trying to beat. Minuses are good because it subtracts from the difficulty you're trying to beat. So that's stinky. Number 2 is dope. Rot. Skin and flesh slowly rot. Large chunks of skin fall off. You take D6 damage, and for the rest of the day, you take an extra +2 damage from physical sources. So infections are cool because you get the nano strange powers, but infestations that come with it are bad, and they are bad things. So there's a trade-off, which is always fantastic.
Always good. Very, very Mork Borg. So.
Yep. You can also do glitches. Yeah.
Look at this fucking art. You know,
I don't even know how to describe it.
I mean, either. It's glitching to all hell. It looks like there's a guy. There's his like rendering device that I've forgotten again. The name of it again.
RCD.
But, yeah, RCD retinal something device. And he's just glitching out. Fucking
it looks
crazy.
like a fucked up, glitched out human cat dog.
Yeah, because there's another head right here.
Yeah, it's like a head, but I think it's just like the head like glitching to the other head maybe, and it's got like an arm hanging down. But this clearly takes up the space of omens.
Right.
Yep. So you begin with D2 glitches, and you regain them by rolling D2 or class-based die again after you've spent them all and rested. So the one thing we always forgot to do in Mork Borg was use all our fucking omens.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you had like 3 or 4 omens and you had like 2 left and then you slept, you didn't use them all before you slept, so you're stuck with 2 again. So it's just like use them on whatever. So just like omens, you can use it to deal maximum damage with an attack, reroll a dice, yours or someone else's, lower the damage dealt to you by D6, neutralize a crit or fumble, or subtract D4 from one test, which was such a good. I think we use that one more than any in the other Mork Borg.
Yeah, it's like a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a DR12. So basically, if you have an omen or a glitch, all you need is an 8, and an 8 on a D20 with stats, you would still get a lot under that, but.
Yeah.
there were plenty that we got just by reducing the DR. That was really, really cool. Yeah, we are cruising because we're gonna get to the adventure soon. Hit points. I love that.
That's it. The heart's back.
2 parts. It's a heart from the original one, but Death in Space has a mech heart in their game too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the hit points. Do you want to do hit points and stuff?
Yeah, let's do some hit points. You want me to read it or you want me to roll?
Why don't you roll and I'll read it up. So roll a D8. Punks start with toughness +8, but never less than 1. 0 HP is battered. So if you're battered and you roll a D8 for getting exactly 0 HP, you got a critical injury, and you roll on the body table. Does it link to the body table? It doesn't. I wish it linked to the body table there. To see where you were hit, the body part is destroyed, and it has to be replaced or regrown. At the moment, you are unable to act for D4 rounds, then become active with D4 HP. So you lose a body part and have to go to those repo men and get a new one. Yeah. But if you roll a D8, if you roll an 8 on the D8, you're dead, son. And then I love this. Negative HP means you're dead. Asterisk.
Unless you can pay.
Unless you can pay. It's so cyborg, dude. I feel like 70, 80 pages in, we can be like, that's so cyborg. But it is. If you have a personal bank account with at least 1K creds, there's a 50% chance for an emergency response team to reach you in time to save your life. If you are at 0 or -1 HP, add an additional 0 to the bill for each negative HP thereafter. Wow. An extra 0 to the bill. So if you're at -1, it's 1K. If you're at -2, it's 10K. If you're at -3, it's 100K in the bank just for these dudes to show up. For each negative HP, you will spend D6 days in the ICU afterwards, but you will be alive. And then someone in Psy Rage goes berserk. It's tagged out to the other section here. Oh, here's the body table literally right on it, so there's no reason to reference it. Yeah. Literally right fucking next to it. Why don't you roll a D6 and a D20? So this is another cool piece of art.
I got a 3.
And so it's the left side of your body.
I got a 19.
Ooh, your left foot. Gone.
Didn't need it.
Gone. 600 creds.
My least favorite foot.
Yeah, who needs it? Another cool piece of art, which is based kind of like a skeleton, kind of like a digital person. Just dope as fuck. And their left foot is missing too. Oh, maybe it's you. So apparently there's this thing called Psy Rage. It's a post-incident phenomenon that remains a mystery despite numerous corp-funded scientific studies. Nano-infestations and rogue AI hacker interference are unconfirmed theories, but most court cases rule user negligence to be the main reason. Because of this, Psy Rage is a breach of contract with dire consequences, as clearly stated in the undecipherable depths of the device's end-user license agreement. And it says that Psy Rage, someone in Psy Rage goes berserk, temporarily gains plus D8 HP, and attacks random targets twice per round with their most effective weapon. Attacks are DR10 and defense is DR14. This doesn't stop until battered, dead, or otherwise sedated. So you go ape shit, have a ton of HP, go twice per round, hit randomly with your best weapon, and you hit easier because it's only a DR10, and you have a defensive DR14, so you're harder to hit. And you won't stop until you're knocked out or fucking dead. Damn.
What the fuck?
Right? Ugh. Do you want to hit up combat?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, this spread, right. It's, like our punk character beheading like a fucking sec ops or a cop. So for initiative, you're going to roll a d6. On 1 to 3, enemies act first. On 4 to 6, PCs act first. If necessary, agility plus d6 to determine who acts first within the group. You don't have to do that. You can just say who acts first, but it's there. Melee is a strength test, DR12 to hit, and then you roll for damage based on your weapon. Range, single shots, test presence, DR12 to hit, and then roll for damage. Auto fire is test agility, DR12 to hit, and then roll for damage. Hits also allow a second attack against either the same target or another nearby, up to a maximum of 3. And check armor for each hit. So if you have fucking an auto fire weapon, you can hit 3 targets essentially in a single round, which is crazy. Defense is going to be an agility test, DR12, to avoid an enemy's attack. The 12 is always like the basic test for everything. Obviously, it goes up and down. Drone combat, which is fucking cool and new because there are fucking drones in this game. Drones capable of attacking do so either under the direct control of the pilot, using their action and score, or using some kind of AI with a flat D20 roll against DR12. Players roll both to attack and defend, much like Mork Borg. Enemies generally don't roll dice in combat. They're player-facing rolls, which as game masters we love because fuck man, I want to just tell a story. You guys roll the damn dice. I did all the other work. So crit, which is a natural 20. Attacks do double damage. And targets armor, cover is reduced by 1 tier. Natural 20 defense, PC gains a free attack, which is always my favorite because nothing like defending and attacking. Fumble. So on natural 1, on an attack, you're going to roll a D6. Ryan, you want to roll me a D6?
Yeah, absolutely. 3.
Yeah. You're out of ammo. You also drop the weapon or otherwise make it unusable until an action is spent fixing it.
Sucks.
Yeah, or for the 5, your weapon misfires and breaks. 6 is your weapon just blows up in your fucking hand and hurts you. For a fumble of a natural 1 on defense, PC takes double damage and their armor is reduced or cover is reduced by 1 tier. Essentially what happens to the enemy on a crit attack roll.
But it's you.
Fucking sick. When the smoke clears, count your bullets. You do the roll like we talked about for ammo, D8 or D6 if you use auto fire. A result of 1 or 3 indicates an empty mag. If there's still time, catch your breath, wipe your brow, and restore D4 HP.
I like that you basically get a short rest at the end of combat. Like take a breather and get D4 HP. Yeah. Not having to be like, I take a short rest or whatever. So there are optional combat mods, and it says at the top that they are more tactical and a bit crunchier. I like that there are options for additional combat stuff that if you want to keep it super clean, you can, but there are bonuses to it. And the art on this spread is really cool too. It's a person crouching, obviously all cyberpunked out. But this looks like with the badge on the sleeve, it looks like might be like a corp cop or whatever. Firing off a weapon. So optional combat mods. The first one is cover. Taking cover reduces the chance of getting hit by ranged attacks. You increase DR to hit a covered target or lower DR to defend while covered. So light cover is a +2 DR. Heavy cover is a +4 DR. When an attack misses a covered target, heavy cover becomes light cover and light cover is destroyed. So on a miss, even if it's so I guess if it's shooting at you, the same thing because you're defending. But if you're shooting, basically you hit the cover and reduce its tier, which is cool. Aiming is another mod. You spend 1 round aiming at your target to receive either -2 DR to hit or +2 damage, which is cool. So basically take a turn to aim and either reduce the hit or reduce the damage. Range is an option. Close range is arm's length or less. Long range is farther than a room away. +2 DR when firing at close range. Auto fire deals +2 damage at close range, -2 at long range. There's also an option that hits always hurt, which is cool. Hits always deal a minimum of 1 damage regardless of armor reduction or other negative damage modifiers. unless that would bring your character down to 0. So if you want combat to if you want it to be a little deadlier and combat to hurt a little more, you always take at least 1 damage, even if you wouldn't because of the armor soak, which is cool. And then the last optional mod is suppressive fire. Spend a mag using an automatic weapon to suppress up to D3 targets. Suppressed PCs can either 1, get out of the way by running, hunkering down, and adding plus 4 DR to their next action, or stand their ground and defend against a DR14 auto fire attack. Suppressed NPCs test morale. On a success, they stand their ground. On a failure, they get out of the way and do what I said above. So, cool optional mods.
I love this suppressing fire because that makes sense, you know?
Well, it does add, it even says at the top, it's more tactical, it's a little bit crunchier, but if you want a little bit more than the streamlined rules of Mork Borg, these are really cool additions to add that honestly are mostly about guns.
Yeah.
And if you don't, fuck it, it's optional, just like classes. We are on a cool page, which, it looks like your background.
It is my background.
Look at that. It's another kind of city spread with drones and ads and people with guns and outfits that are cool. Some of the signs in the back are really interesting if you like sit down and read some of them. Like remain calm, express yourself, start over, it's done, reset the world. And a lot of corporate tags on everything.
My favorite one is the up top right to the left of what you were just reading, the fatal error. Like their ad failed.
I love that. Some other base core rule stuff, just like Mork Borg. Time. A round is the time it takes to traverse a normal sized room and attack once activating an app or using a nano. 10 rounds make up a minute. Rest is after you're counting your bullets, and everything we talked before. You can restore D4 HP. Eat, drink, and sleep for a full night restores D6, but if you don't eat, you are unable to recover HP. And each day without food or drink, you lose D4 HP, and all tests are plus 2DR per day without rest. There is a 2D6 roll table, which is interesting. I love when they do the 2D6. Another game, we've talked about other games that did the same thing. I don't remember which one it was. Where there's a bell curve in the middle for what they will most likely act like. So you're most likely to be indifferent or confusion the first time something rolls up on you or you roll up on it. But they could be directly hostile or ask for help depending on what you roll. And then morale checks are a thing in Mork Borg and obviously CY BORG. Enemies test morale when their leader is down, half the group is eliminated, or a single enemy is down to half HP. It's if a 2d6 roll is greater than their morale, because enemies get a morale score, they either flee or surrender. So, yeah.
Simple, baby.
High morale, obviously they're not gonna flee as much. And then we have another
piece of art. Can we just talk about this next piece of art?
Talk about it.
It's so fucking cool. Like, what is this? It's like this drain pipe with graffiti all over it, with this like idol sitting in it with this symbol above it. I fucking love this. I love this, man. Johan really be hitting, bro. He really hit this shit, you know?
Seriously. It's like levitating in like a cross leg position with like wires coming off of it and shit. Like, so good. This is again it's basically the same thing as Mork Borg. Self-improvement, aka leveling up. What does it say on the graffiti? I'm terrible. First of all, like, no knock on this to anybody, but like, the death metal band name art that people do, I can never fucking read what it says. Always drives me nuts.
It says "and radical transformation."
There we go. So this is leveling up. The game master decides when a character should improve, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like Mork Borg. For more HP, you roll 6d10. If the result is equal to or greater than your current max HP, you increase it by d6. For ability changes, you roll a d6 against every ability. Results equal to or greater than the ability, raise it by 1 to a max of +6. Results below the ability, decrease it by 1. Because don't forget, in Mork Borg, it said like getting better or worse or something like that.
Yeah, it really is. Like, yeah, you got worse at, you got fucked up in that last combat, and so now you're slower.
Yeah. Abilities from -3 to +1 will always change for the better unless the D6 roll is a 1. If the result is a 1, the ability is reduced by 1 to a maximum -3. So if you roll, the way I'm reading this, and I don't remember if this is what it was before, if you roll against a stat, it always raises by 1 regardless until it's at least a +1.
Right.
And then unless you roll a 1, which reduces it by 1, but once you hit +1, you know, if you're trying to go for +2, I guess you don't get it. Period.
You have to roll.
But you have
over.
to roll against it every time. Yeah, you have to go to roll over.
So like no matter what, there's a guaranteed up until from -3 to 0. 1 is the first time you have a chance of losing 1, and then past that you just have to make the roll.
Yeah. And then in the lining of a jacket, you find, what do you find? What do you find? A D6.
I'm not rolling D6. I'll roll D6.
Do it.
I rolled a fucking 4. I found 3 D6 times 10 on an untraceable cred chip. Thank God, because I've got massive debt. So
you got 32,000. Roll 3d6 times 10. We'll roll 3d6 at least.
11 times 10. So I got 100, 110 fucking little creds there.
Creds.
I got enough for a couple food snacks,
Yeah. So we're moving on to page 90.
Real quick, can we talk about 6? Just real quick on that one.
Oh, yeah,
6 is a faintly growing pebble that has a 20% chance of infecting you with a nanopower.
All right, 20% chance. So roll a D, pick a number and roll a D20. No, wait, no, it's 20. My brain is
25%.
That's a 1 in 5 chance, right?
It's a 1 in 5.
So roll a D5.
So
we'll roll a D10 in half.
D10, 1 and 2 will give me a power.
There you go. That's how math works, and that's how dice work, kids.
I did not get a power.
Sucks. So it's just a faintly glowing rock. Foes, chapter 3, show no mercy because they won't. We're just gonna kind of cruise through these. If you, Hunter, see one you think is super cool, stop and we'll go through it, and I'll do the same thing.
Let's do that. The art of everything, the art in these is like out of this world.
Good. Out of this world. So guards and goons started off. So these are mostly corp guards and stuff. The first one is a generic Sepop or Gangoon, or United Citadel Security Operative, or a V-Raid Viper. I love the art on the next page is the Roadrunner, because the motorcycle that they're riding has got like a, I don't know, the wheels.
It reminds me of if Ghost Rider was an Acura.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So there's the Roadrunner, which is that guy, which has got basically it's all like cyberpunked out, but then it's got like a skull on the head. Again, I love the mix of cyberpunk and dark death occulty shit. Yeah. It's so good. So the Roadrunner is a wasteland scavenger, rightly feared by for their territorial brutality and hyper-tuned weaponized rides. They're wanted for 100 to 600 creds, can usually be hired for a day for the same sum. HP 5, Morale 5, Waster's Tux, minus D2, an assault rifle, D8A. So again, some people forget Mork Borg can be played as a trophy hunting monster hunter game. So it actually lists the what you can get for defeating a Roadrunner and turning it in somewhere is 100 to 600 creds, or hire them for 100 to 600 creds. That's dope. Dude, the Psy-Raging Menace art, the next page, like
bonkers. It's really cool.
I can't even. It's so gonzo out there. Like, just it's hard to describe. It's a person's face, but like if they had no nose and they had sharp teeth and their eyes were like glowing red, but then somehow also had like what looks like a gas mask like melted to their face, kind of, at least the filters, holding a blade, a Smart Jack connected blade. So yeah, basically they're big bad violence worshipping cyber freaks, enhanced for combat sufficiency and empathy repression. I mean, it's so good, right? And then the Corp Assassin Special Forces is cool. Basically, it's a black site specialist and kill team. Granted impunity for their discretion. HP 16, morale 10. Like, crazy. Another shout out to Mork Borg in the original one, Heir of Kurgaz. We talked about these guys earlier. They're fanatical nanomancer heralds of the two-headed demons. And this spread here is crazy. It's like, again, it's like an occult character, but they have like a fucking like AR on their hip and these like techie horns coming out the top. And then from one of their hands is this kind of like spell / tech striking a person who is like bound at ankles and wrists to a wall, but that's also floating with their RCD on their head, like getting hit by this power. It's like, come on with this shit. Like, it's so insane.
Yeah, very cool.
So these are the Heir of Kurgaz, which I think are one of the big gangs in here, aside from the Vipers. Really, really cool. You roll for nano powers. They have psychic scalpels. A warped filament knife and or psychic scalpel. So good. Drones. 4 types of drones: crawlers, flyers, stingers, and turrets. Exactly what they sound like. Exactly what are those people that make the dog robots? You know what I'm talking about?
Dynamics.
Oh man, that's what we got right here. It's gonna be a crawler. All you have to do is slap a gun to it, which someone will or has.
Yeah, they will eventually.
Dog-sized and crab-legged, utilitarian, single-minded. That's a crawler. The flyer is a seldom autonomous AI due to their complex processing power, but they have superb maneuvering. The stinger, is it? Yeah, stinger. Tools of espionage, fly-sized and silent, equipped with recording devices, data bumps, or a poison stinger. It's like the fucking thing from Dune.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And then the turret is a fucking turret. Like, it's not hard. It's a gun on a twisty thing. Dude, the enhanced beast? The art on the enhanced beast?
Oh yeah, the warg.
Like, what?
That's really cool.
What? It's like a 3-eyed, insane warg, like giant wolf thing, but like obviously with some tech thrown on it. Like a barbed, like mech tail. It's crazy. Gene-wrapped canines mutilated with weaponized augmentation. Like guard dog of the rich and brutal, because of course they are. Like, it's crazy. Vamps, crocs.
I think the next spread's one of my favorite for the enemies, the bad guys.
Dude, the art on the left side of the page here, just like the yellow outlines in front of like a galaxy-ish kind of shit. Oh my god, dude. Do you want to talk about side droids?
Yeah, side droids. So we have a couple. We have the Skulker, the Doppel, and the Vindicator. The Skulker is your void black steel alloy murder skeletons built for a single purpose, tracking down a target and destroying it without mercy. The Doppel is your mimics and facsimiles, artisan infiltrators, human enough to fool all of those, but the most rigorous test. And your Vindicators are frontal assault terror robots, activated and when pacification is desired over discretion. So your big destroyer warbots. Yeah, super cool. And you have this like on the left, I assume is like the Doppel, the mimic. He's got like, you can see the cyborg face with the 2 human faces kind of around it. It's what's inside, It's fucking cool. Also, just this neon suit it's wearing is really cool.
Oh my god, dude, the suit.
Yeah.
So dope. Well, and I love because it's like the face on it is clearly some type of like droid, whatever. But then like almost like split in half and pulled sideways is 2 halves of a face over top of it. I assume it's like representative of like it's a mask thing over the droid, the side droid face. So fucking cool. Nano freaks. The headhunter reminds me of Toy Story.
Yeah, the little baby head on spider legs.
Baby head on, yeah. Skittering horrors, never alone, eyes spurt, cryo radiation with a latent nano infection threat. The white tail is interesting because the whole spread is interesting. It's like if you're in a hole looking up out of it at like a tenement building with some chain link, but it's all soaked in red, and then there's just this white fox. That's what it looks like, basically.
A myth. It's called a ghost.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. Eerily large eyes, a body like smoke. It moves with purpose, stealing tech and vanishing without a trace. Fucking weird, man.
Yeah. It's spectral, so it ignores damage taken. It ignores any damage when the damage taken is an uneven number. Such a good mechanic. Love the fuck out of that. Like, I can't, like, I'm stealing the shit out of that. Spiral Gaze. Each round, one random opponent tests presence, DR12, or falls out of sync with reality and can't move. And then Phase Venom. The Whitetail's Maw is a miasmic cocktail of nanites and alien spores. Toughness, or the victims bleed from facial orifices, suffering damage each round for the following 3 rounds. Like, it's crazy. And here's the thing is, it's not that hard. It's HP 4, morale 5, right? But like, between the spectral and the spiral gaze and stuff, you know, and the thing is 100 to 10k worth of tech in the layer, because that's what they do, is steal tech.
Oh, man.
I would have you, why don't you, fuck, no, that would be a D100. Why don't you roll a D100? Because 100 to 10k, with that, if you just top the zeros off, that's 1 to 100, right?
Yeah, 83. So
you got
83,000.
8,300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8,300.
8,300.
Right.
I love the next page so much. It's a spread of
explosion.
A person exploded, and then there's another person in like the bottom right that like was hit by this explosion of person. And the creature is called a bloated. So it's the walking corpse that shambles inside Go, the rumored final fate of all nano-infected. HP 18, no morale listed, no armor, slam D4. It's got nothing of value, but its abilities are ready to burst, explodes upon death or when receiving a crit. Its acid bile can hit up to D3 nearby targets, test agility, DR14, or take D4 damage, or empty skulls, incapable thought and will. I love that it's not just a picture of a big fat guy or whatever. It's the ability is that it explodes, and it's a full 2-page spread of just blood and guts and gore exploding across the entire page. I love the movement in it. It reminds me of like anything like Edward Gorey's like the dictionary book, and I'm talking about like A is for Alice who fell down the stairs, B is for Basil assaulted by bears. Like, all of the pieces of the kids aren't after they've died, it's in the process of them dying.
Really?
Yeah. Have you never seen this?
No. I'll look into it.
Yeah. It is the I don't know why I'm blanking on this. It's called oh my god. Gaslicum Tinies. And why I'm dumb for blanking is I literally have a freaking Gaslicum Tinies tattoo like on the back of my arm. And it's a letter book where every letter is a kid about to die in a gruesome way. And like A is for Alice who fell down the stairs. So it's literally a picture of this girl like airborne down this like giant banister stairs. And like B is for Basil assaulted by bears, and it's this little kid looking over his shoulder as bears like creeping up on him. So it's like the moment right before. I don't know why this reminds me of that it's the explosion, not like the creature, which is really cool. Combat vehicles. Only a couple here. Armored cars, Milcor gunship. Great piece of art here. I love how it's like got the onomatopoeia.
The sound effect.
Birds with like the like just badass like copter thing with like the guns, the bullets coming down with these two like, you know, punks running and shit with their swords and guns.
I like how each letter of the sound effect is outlined behind it, like it's going over and over and over again because it's a fucking minigun going off.
It's so good. And I love this next spread. And I mean, I can tell it's the simplicity of it that really kills me. There's so much like going on like in the art in some of the pages. And then this is just pure red background.
Yeah, it's a really, really good one. Yeah. I also like the mech symbol. I like that font.
Yeah, it took me a second, I'm gonna be honest, because again, my brain does not absorb that like death metal logo well. But yeah, it says mech. Yeah, over like a white sun, and the only colors on the whole page are just like white, black, and red. It's an entire red page with this big, exactly what you think a mech looks like. But it's kind of like It's black and red with the reds floating into the back as if a bunch of light is hitting it, which is also red. So it's quasi silhouetted a little bit. And it basically says like the awe-inspiring pinnacle of mankind's murderous ingenuity, bipedal constructions of war. I mean, it's fucking mechs.
It's a mech, you know?
It's a fucking mech. Yeah. So it's fucking cool. Gosh, a ghost, like a cyber ghost.
Yeah.
Like this page, I can't even begin like to know what the fuck's happening. It's just glitching the fuck out.
This is what you see. This is what you see in the net when you run across these like awake like egos of like AI you aren't supposed to understand.
Exactly, dude. So then we're in chapter 4, which is data. It's a repeat of the tables, the style feature, styles and feature. I think it's a repeat. It's your obsession and your quirk and the once. Was that? Yeah. Some of them, I don't think roll was there before, was it? Like the ROLE roll? Was that something we rolled on?
I don't think it was either. Maybe we just missed it.
Oh.
Maybe it's...
Oh, we'll roll.
Yeah.
Roll a D100 and let's see what a roll is. I got a 72. Researcher.
58.
Huh.
58. Middle manager.
There you go. Middle management. The goal of every worker be.
Got your coffin department and
yeah. I like the mission generator. I think it's really, really cool. There's a cool spread here with these 3 like I think these are more like core than punk people, but they're like they got black ski masks on with like these like glowing like orange and yellow eyes. But the mission generator says that PCs all start with the debt they need to pay back. Yours is expensive. To avoid being hunted down, having their stuff repoed, and then being thrown back in the gutters of the slums, they'll have to accept work from the forces that run Psy. So why don't you roll up a mission real quick? So number 1 is your contact. So roll a D20. The PCs are contacted by a...
Oh, sorry, I hit 10. I rolled 10 anyway, so 10. A street kid.
Street kid. Okay, an urchin rolls up. For the patron, they're acting on behalf of... Roll another D20.
14.
A nearby neighborhood community. Okay, at least it's not the court.
Perfectly.
Yeah. Dude, another amazing piece of art here where it's like a neoned out like creature that's got like almost Lovecraft. It almost looks like a mind flayer in like a cyberpunk outfit with a gun.
Yeah.
So number 3 is a reward. So who promises what? Another D20.
4.
Info they may have use for. So a street kid rolls up to you on behalf of a neighboring community saying that they have info that you may have use for. If, roll another D20 for the job.
13.
If you smuggle, and roll another D20 for the target.
15.
A relic or a cult leader.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, wait, there's more.
Where am I smuggling it to?
No, well, so the target location can be found at another D20.
4.
At a luxurious restaurant or a shelter hidden behind a nondescript door inside a subway station. Okay, I would probably say the shelter behind the nondescript door, not a luxury residence.
Yeah.
And that location is somewhere in...
Another 20?
Yep.
19.
In or on water. Okay. It is protected by another D20.
19.
Dang. Stealth suit psychopath.
Jesus.
Dang. And the complication, as if you needed one, is another
16.
D20. The events are being recorded. That's dope. I love that there are literally, I mean, if you roll, there's 9 tables of D20s. The odds of ever getting the same mission is, I can't even begin to describe.
Few and far between.
So yeah, so a street kid from a neighboring community rolls up to you and says that they have some information that you may have use for. But in order to get it, you have to smuggle the cult leader out of a hidden shelter inside a subway station that's right on the water, but it's protected by a stealth suit psychopath, and the entire thing will be recorded. That's your mission. I love the fuck out of that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And because you don't even need to use all of those tables.
No, you really don't. You know,
you can
just use to get started or to finish up, you know?
Yeah. And not only that, there's location features. So can you roll me 3d10s?
Yeah, 3d10.
Because this basically expands the location into more than just like, oh, it's a shelter. What else? What about it?
All right. 5, 7, and 6.
5, 7, and 6. So for this underground, like on the water subway station shelter, parts have been taken over. Parts have been taken over by squatters engaged in a slow but deadly conflict with the owners. There's a hidden conspiracy board detailing plot behind the latest miserable headline that you find there. And additional danger is an out-of-place laser turret fires at everyone without the password. So you just made the location like more interesting. So obviously I wouldn't tell you the hidden feature when we're rolling it, but you could find something, and that would be a clue to the next headline, which is dope. And then there's actually a corporate. So we're in the generator section here. So roll me up 3d12s.
Okay, we've got 2, 11, and 12.
So your corporation is that Kilo or Kifo? I think it's KIFO. So the Kaifo division.
Kaifo, I'd say Kaifo.
Yeah, and your main industry is transport. Roll a d20.
11.
And your latest controversy of the Kaifo division in transportation is you were selling dead employees' body parts after workplace accidents. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
So fucking ridiculous.
Another great piece of art of this, like kind of like cyberpunk but covered in like random jewelry holding like a tech skeleton. I'm gonna roll on the cult generator. This is my bad.
That's a you thing.
Yeah, it's a me thing. 4 and a 10.
So 4, we have the worship's death, and then a 10 atop a high class ports restaurant.
Hell yeah, baby!
Yeah, worship death eating well.
Yeah.
You guys are meeting in the attic, you know?
Yeah, there's meat in the attic, you know? You get it? Because yeah. Okay. So
there's
city events.
So many, like honestly, there's so many. Past this, we have city events. After that are more city events. Then we have
so it's D100
events.
City events and net events. Do you want to roll on these, or do you want to just? Well, that's it. I think these are the last two before the So let's roll on city and net events.
Yeah, let's roll. You roll city events. I'll roll net events.
So I roll 100, and I think you roll a 20.
I do.
So my city event, and again, there's so many little pieces of cool art on these. There's like a big spread on the original city events page, but on the next page, it's a lot of little pieces which are really cool. I rolled a 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. And there is a pusher offering free nano-infested drugs, because as we know, drugs aren't free.
Right.
And what did you get for a net event?
For the net event, I rolled a 9, a floating projection of a woman, cable interface with a custom-built state-of-the-art THC drone deck. Both she and the deck bear the unmistakable signs of a black ice death.
Dope.
Okay.
It makes me think of the Blade Runner 2049 again, where the girl's like dancing in the window, but it's Anna de Armas again, and she's like holding like the bottle of liquor or whatever, except it's black ice death because it's cyberpunk. It's cyborg. And then there's an introductory cyborg. I love that the first page on the spread literally says failed to load content and has like an X on it. And it's just like, nah, we're just saying this page didn't load in. That's cool. And then Lucky Flight Takedown is an introductory cyborg heist. We're not going to go over it all because 1, we might run it on stream. And two, we don't read through the adventures because buy the fucking book. Yeah, when it's available for you to pre-order again, fucking buy the goddamn book. This book is so fucking cool.
This is a really, really good one.
Such a good book. So whoop, real quick through that. And then we're basically done. So at the back, yes, there is the index.
There's the index.
Yep, completely hyperlinked. Love it. Love to see it. I also do not, it does not bother me that they put the index in the back of the book, just like Mork Borg.
Yeah.
Because it's such an art heavy book, art forward. Yeah. I love that it goes straight into the vibe, and then this goes in the back. But it is heavily like page by page by page. Like every single thing is hyperlinked on here. Does it have bookmarks? Did I see if it had bookmarks? It is bookmarked. It's fucking bookmarked.
Bro, it's bookmark. It's hyperlinked, dog.
Bookmarks and hyperlinks, man. Like, it's everything you want. It's everything you want. And then the last, so that's the index. And then just like Mork Borg, I assume this would be the in papers. It's all of the abilities, tests, like nano, apps, combat. The entire game's base core system fits on a 2-page spread, which is fucking awesome. They even got drone combat stuffed in here, auto fire, single shot, the death stuff. Really dope. And then the final back cover is so sick. I want this piece of art by itself.
Cool. God,
but,
it's so cool.
Yeah. It's like a nano priest or whatever, like with a like a half moon kind of shape above its head, and this digital glitch just pouring out its face. Stockholm Cartel, Free League Publishing, and it says nano-infested doomsday RPG about cybernetic misfits and punks raging against a relentless corporate hell. Mork Borg hacked. Cyborg, baby. That's Cyborg,
baby. We did it. Yeah. It's here. We have Cyborg. Maybe not in hand, but damn it, close enough.
Can't fucking wait. So we're gonna head. I mean, look at that timing, 10:53. We're gonna head straight to the scores for Cyborg here, and we're gonna give this thing a rating. So I'm actually gonna pull up some previous scores here, because this is basically, again, it's Cyberpunk Mork Borg with some variants, and we're gonna talk about it. So art and style wise, I mean, so Mork Borg is, I think, the only game we've given a 10 to on art and style.
Very true.
Do we think this is on par with Mork Borg?
Yeah, I would. I think that this is like, it's very, very modernized. It's a very different setting, but like the use of art to like reinforce a theme. How much are they? I mean, almost everything is a total spread. And then not even that, you have all this like weird stuff in the background that not just like the imagery, but like the little pop-ups or hidden notes. It's even in the back of the book. It's like reinforces like corporate, like far future dystopian. Everything's terrible. This is maybe one of the best art books we've looked at, period.
Yeah.
You know,
I think as far as an art book goes, I mean, Mork Borg is amazing. It's bigger, longer book with more spreads and stuff in it. Again, like this wouldn't exist without Mork Borg, but it's like, you know, they took Mork Borg and like took a big step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a big step. I really think it's very, very much like the same and a huge step forward. I think the way in which they use this like the negative space to make these like funny references to corporate culture or whatever is really interesting. And the fact that the art shifts based on what you're looking at the time, what section of the book you're in, because it's very consistent and very, very like for the first like 20 pages to really reinforce that dystopian, like gothic cyberpunk feel. And then it's like, okay, now we switch it up to explain the hills or drugs, you know?
That's what I was gonna say. That's one of my favorite parts, is like every time it switches style to reinforce is so fucking good.
Yeah,
like,
it's really good.
So good. I mean, like you said, there's like a 3-page section where it goes slums, hills, in-betweens.
Yeah.
And it's like burning fucking garbage and cars, and then super crisp hills, gates, like super clean colors. Immediately goes into the in-betweeners, which is just like concrete fucking like tenement, and that's it. So yeah, easy 10. And what I didn't do, but we'll do a quick before we do this again, is a little breakdown. The way we score things is it's 5 categories with up to 10 points each. 10s are rare. Art and style is the art in the book. It's the quality, the quantity, how it's used. The style is the consistency throughout. A book that's like an art book like this gets a 10. A book that has zero art in it whatsoever would get a low score, and for all of these scores, 5 is average. Layout and function is how readable the book is, and as far as this layout goes. Its functionality as far as the things that I obsess over, which is hyperlinks, bookmarks, all the ways to make the PDF more functional, and also ways to make the book more functional. So this is where also like ribbons in books are really important, because I think ribbons make books more functional because you can like reference pages and go back and forth easier. Or the fact that this book has all the rules in 2-page end papers in the back. Rule set and crunch is, if it's an original rule set, is it good? If it's an adapted rule set, how well is it adapted? And crunch is, are there the appropriate amount of rules for the setting, right? Does it not feel convoluted and bogged down by the rules? Originality is exactly what it sounds like, and that's kind of one of our more broad things. It's originality in rules, lore, set, like every aspect of it. And value is the bang for your buck, how much money, how much you get for what you spend, and how many resources are out there available to you, like generators or character sheets or adventures and stuff like that. So 10 for art and style right off the bat. Layout and function. That was a pretty
easy one.
Yeah, that was a really easy one. So layout and function.
Actually, this one's better laid out than Mork Borg is.
I think so. I think it's more readable per page. Yeah. Like Mork Borg was one of those ones where, like, after I remember the first time reading it, just having no fucking clue what was happening page to page. Yeah. But then as I read it again and again, I was like, oh, this is the combat section. This is this section. That's that section. This one, especially because of the art transitions and stuff, it makes it a lot easier. I think the chapters make it a lot easier. I think the pages are super readable. I do like that Mork Borg and some of the other ones where the pages were like not really unreadable, but like it was much more deep into the art with the way that you read it. Right. But we always said that art and style and layout and function kind of have like an alternating effect. It'd be really hard to have a book that's like a 10 in art and style and a 10 in layout and function, because layout and function is kind of about not having a bunch of crazy shit all over. But I do think that this is better. I think so. It got a 7. Mork Borg got a 7 on layout and function. I would give this an 8.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's actually the perfect score for layout and function.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because we've talked about like a 10 is Troika. We've talked about this before. No book will ever be as well laid out as Troika, even to the fact that each different chapter has literally printed on different page colors. And the fact that every page takes you back to the, you can link back to the chapter that's in or back to the index. I mean, it's perfect. But what I consider the minimum requirements at this point, which a lot of books don't have, is hyperlink table of contents, bookmarks, and if a page references another page, like find this rule on page 33, you should be able to click that and go to page 33. This book has all of that. So yeah, I think it's great. I think the pages are super readable, even in spread format, which, you know, I don't really like looking at spreads. So yeah. Rule set and crunch.
I way prefer it, actually. You know?
Yeah, well, we've talked about it. If a thing has too much, like I want to look at a little bit at a time. But even in spread, they didn't really like slam each side. It was more like, here's an art piece, and most of the info would still be on one side, which is so really true. Yeah. Rule set and crunch. I mean, it's Mork Borg. It's
Mork Borg, but they've added to it. You know, there's they added some options. You know, there's one more stat which totally makes sense, but also there's rules for the optional rules for combat, the combat mod.
There's like 5 little combat mods. Yeah.
So it's Mork Borg plus. You know.
Yeah, but I guess my thought is the optional combat mods enough to bump a score from an 8 to a 9?
No.
Okay, yeah. Because I think as far as like the games that got a 9, I think the only game right now, there's 2 games that we gave a 9 to Rule Set and Crunch for, because we originally, we actually have 4 games that got a 9. Nice. 5 games that got a 9.
Nice.
Wow, there's a lot of 9s. Basically, we think they're as good as you can get, and we've never given a 10. Death in Space has a 9. Yeah, but for different reasons, too. Death in Space has a 9. 12 Years has a 9. Kingdoms has a 9, and Into the Odd has a 9, and Necronautilus has a 9. And
I
if
think this
any
is
of
a
those
good
were
8. You know, I think this is still an 8.
Yeah. If any of those were gonna get a 10, it would be Necronautilus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is an 8 too. I think it's Mork Borg, and I love it, and it's fantastic, and it's clean. It is, in its base rules, pretty straightforward, which is great. It's simple and light. But, you know, anything higher has layers to it, like Kingdoms. Microplay, macro play, 12 years, you know, things like that is great. So originality. So Cyberpunk, fucking, there's a million of them. There's a fucking million of them. Cyberpunk games?
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
You mean like the one called Cyberpunk? Fuck you.
Never heard of it.
Fuck you trying to hide that smile, you piece of shit. So as far as the Cyberpunk, as far as just pure Cyberpunk goes, it's not, there's originality to it. But Cyborg really slapped Cyberpunk and like a cult together in this like brutality that, like, I mean, here's the thing. Cyberpunk itself, the whole genre is basically about like corporate overlords and like being like the bottom of the totem pole. But I've not really seen one that really puts this much extra like viscera and gore and occultism.
It's still incredibly gothic, you know, like it really still is incredibly gothic.
It's cyberpunk goth, hardcore.
Yeah, and I really love that, and I think the addition of like, you know, the alien like bacteria that gives you the nano powers,
and infections like and infestations.
I think it's really very original. I would easily give this an 8. Maybe even above that, but it's at least an 8, you know.
At least, so Mork Borg got a 9 because we said Grimdark exists. It's not been done in a gonzo, funny, brutal way before. Is what we said about Mork Borg.
I mean, this is kind of the same then, because like Cyberpunk exists, but has it really ever been done in this like really over top gonzo fucking brutal-esque fashion? Like this game's fucking, it's brutal. I mean, it's brutal. And it's amazing.
It is. It's brutal and amazing. And then when we talk about things besides the originality of just the setting, right? When you go like the even the mission generator is great, but when you look at all the different tables and all the different references to other stuff, I mean, references to Miura, like references to like themselves, like self-referential stuff with Mork Borg and shit like that. I think when you look at some of the like the even little things like that, my favorite table, like the 1 through 6, and it's just a fucking it's one option. That shit cracks me up, and I think that adds to the originality because, like you said, there's like the gonzo layer to this. There was even a tweet thread earlier that I was reading that was like, if you don't think Mork Borg is comedy, you're not playing it right. Yeah. And then Johan hopped in and was like, yeah, look at this shit. And what I love about it is it's a brutality that you can fucking laugh at. And the people I want to play with at my table are the people that can laugh at the brutality because it's fucking funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that adds to the originality. So the number of times we looked at a piece of art and we're like, holy fuck, this sets the vibe in a different way. Or that we laughed when we're like, look how fucking cool this is, but that also cracks me the fuck up. I definitely think the originality here is much, much beyond, it's a cyberpunk setting. Like it's so far above and beyond just like a cyberpunk setting. What are your thoughts?
I think maybe this is 9.
Yeah. I really think, again, cyberpunk exists, but hasn't been done in this way.
This, after
maybe
talking about it, it might be scratching. It's starting to scratch a 10 for me, man. But yeah, I think a 9's a good one.
Yeah, I think a 9's a really good spot because, again, you have to also then, since we talk about originality is basically all of the other stuff together. Yeah. It's like rule set, like art, everything all into one. And I think the only one that's got a 10 is Necronautilus. And
it's so original. Yeah. There's nothing else like that one. So fair.
And rule set wise, this is just a hack of Mork Borg. So Mork Borg got an originality for the rule set. Since this is still the same rule set, I think it keeps it to a 9. So I had no fucking clue what to write for value. Like I wanted to hit up Johan and be like, hey.
I think our best bet is to go off of the Kickstarter and we can revisit this later on. So for PDF only on the Kickstarter, it was $12. For the base physical copy and with a PDF, it was $46. I think you and I paid for I'm sorry, the $46 was for the physical, the PDF, and the PDF asset pack. And then you and I paid what, $92 for the Nano, the
we went balls. We went balls deep on this one.
With the asset pack digital. We balled deep enough, damn it.
We did.
I didn't need to go any deeper in this. You know, I think it's hard to say right now.
Well, so here's what I think we can do, actually.
Ooh,
where is the original Mork Borg Kickstarter?
I don't know. I didn't back the original Mork Borg.
Neither did I. It makes me so sad in my heart.
Yeah.
Mork Borg Kickstarter by Johan Nohr. So if we look at what the original Kickstarter costs were, right, and then compare them to what the costs are now, we can kind of get a rough estimate for what they costed, right? So can you look up what Heretical Priestess, copy of the printed book, digital copy, printed map. So digital copy is 100 SEK. I don't know what 100 SEK is to USD.
It's about $10.
Okay. All right. So then what is 250 SEK?
It is $26.
So basically it's a 1-to-1. 250 is 25. Okay. So Mork Borg originally was $10 for PDF and $25 for print version on Kickstarter. And then how much is Mork Borg now? I think it's like $35, isn't it? Roughly?
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay. So then if we go off of that, how much is just the print version
of Cyborg?
Mm-hmm.
There is no just print version.
Well, print and digital, whichever one gets you the cheapest, like physical copy.
$46. It comes with the digital asset pack, though.
Oh, with the digital asset pack, $46.
Yeah.
So it might actually be more than that originally. And how many pages is this? 160?
So many. I'm looking. Including the very back. When the smoke clears is when it ends. So it says 83, but there's several pages past. Let's see. And say 83 for now.
83 pages, doubled because you're in spreads.
Oh, I'm looking at the index.
Oh, well, if you're looking at the table of contents, it goes...
Oh, it goes way deeper than that, man.
Go to the opposition, yeah. Just go up to the last numbered page. Yeah, it's like 160 pages.
Yeah, it's quite a few. There's a couple pages.
And how many pages is Mork Borg?
Oh, it's in my car.
It's okay. I got the spreads here. 96 pages. So it's almost half again as big as Mork Borg was. Yeah. Also, I mean, we don't fucking know. So let's just say, let's call it roughly average, and then what else do you get with it is what we're really looking at.
You get the asset pack, which I haven't gone through yet. I don't know if you have.
I mostly, yeah.
Is it cool?
It's pretty freaking cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. We got the asset pack, character sheet, location pad, the map, and the Reaper repo. Which is an adventure on the back of like a poster, which is cool, but I think that's Kickstarter exclusive. I mean, all we can do right now is update this later. I'd say we throw like either probably a 6 on this.
I think a 6 for now is good.
Yeah, call it a day, and then when we know what the actual price is, we can adjust that. What did we say for originality? What did we call this? A 9?
Yeah.
Oh, I already have it there. So it's just the value square that's missing. I say we call it a 6.
I'm actually on, the big thing about Mork Borg and the reason that it got rated so highly for value is because of all the third-party stuff. And I am on morkborg.com/CB license. And there is a third-party license for Cyborg.
There is.
So there will be a ton of stuff. But it is really funny because in at the bottom, it says, can I make Cyborg NFTs No, absolutely not. And I think that's fucking hilarious.
Love that. I think we should just throw a 7 on this because for price, for digital asset pack, and for third-party license, we just start with the 7, and that's probably where it's going to end up anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let's go with that. And then let's calc up what our shiz is here. So it's 10 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7. 42. Am I right?
42, baby.
Yeah.
Some good company in 42s.
So as of right now, though, that's still a lower number than Mork Borg was.
The value really pumps up Mork Borg, though. You know?
The value, they got a 10, right?
Yeah.
So if we gave this a 10, it would be a 45, which would be our highest rated score ever for a game.
One day we might revisit it because I have a feeling a ton of shit after the next 6 months. A ton of third-party shit's going to come out for it.
Well, considering everyone we know and like and back, like Christian Eichhorn, Philip Reed, Aster Lich, like all those people are already like, fuck yeah, Cyborg's on the way, baby. Like it's going to be happening.
Kickstarter's going to get rough here in the next few months.
Dude, oh my God. Mork Borg is the highest we have with a 44. Necro Nautilus was updated a couple of times. It's a 43. Into the Odds a 40, Kingdoms is a 40, Death in Space is a 42. So those are the only 40 plus games we've reviewed. And what's funny about that is Death in Space, Cyborg, and Mork Borg are all Free League Stockholm Cartel stuff. So the only 40 plus games we have, they do. The only 40 plus games we have are Necro Nautilus, Into the Odd, and Kingdoms outside of Stockholm Cartel. Yeah, so we've rated like five games above a 40 now out of like the 19 or 20 we've gone over. So I think that's fantastic. I think this fits exactly where I thought it would be. And realistically, like you just said, when inevitably there is a fuck ton of free Cyborg stuff and more generators and all the rest of that stuff, that value scores are just going to keep going up and up. Because we know, Johan and the Stockholm Cartel guys are not like, they're like, here's free shit, here's a generator, here's this, here's that. Player, like, this is just make cool shit. All we want to see is cool shit, So yeah. So that is fucking Cyborg, friends.
Fucking Cyborg. We did it.
It's so good. And we didn't even we cruised this one in a very, I feel like, good way. Like we cruised it better than we've done a lot of games. We didn't hit half the content in here. And it's fucking killer. Like you have to get it, you have to read it. It's amazing, and I can't wait to get that.
Book. If you're listening to this or watching this, you should get this. There's no reason not to. The
Kickstarter exclusive cover with like the RCD foiling on the front. I'm just oh god. But yeah, so that's our podcast, friends. Listen. Go follow us on all our socials, weekly_scroll on Twitter. They're all right here. Especially follow our YouTube. Definitely go subscribe to that. It costs you nothing. It really helps us out. We've been getting some more follows lately or some more subs on there, which is fantastic. It just, at this point, it's cool numbers that make us feel really good. And Jason does a killer job with the YouTube. Throw some bones his in our way. Just go follow our socials if you like our stuff. And one way or another, say something out there about what you're hearing or watching. We would really appreciate it. But that is the end of our podcast for today. Hunter, it has been fabulous as always. This was a wonderful day. Cyborg kicked ass. You kicked ass.
Good to see you, Ryan.
And
get some sleep.
We will. Oh, I will. But we will announce, as we do, our next game probably sometime between Wednesday and Friday of this coming week. And that's it. Have a good one. We will see all of you later.
Farewell.